This isn't your grandma's platform fighter. This is one for champions. Rivals 3D. What is a rival?
All right. Welcome to Vortex Gallery Online 2024 Rivals of Aether base cast. I am Anti. I'm joined today by the wonderful Chopper. And man, Chopper, it's been a full year since the last one.
Yep, you said so yourself, Anti. And again, just some more Rivals 1 for you this year. As you already saw, the definitive edition has been out for 4 years now. In summer of 2020 was the official release, and you can get it today.
Yeah, I mean, summer 2020 is where we kicked off a lot of things, but right now we're looking to kick off the top 8 of bracket as a whole. And, you know, we might have had a few people drop out here or there, but it does not stop the fact that we still got some very interesting sets in store for everyone here. Right now, we're going to be starting things up. I do believe we have a few sets, you know, outside of top 8 that we're going to be looking at first. But in the meantime, my biggest question, right, is what exactly is going through these players' minds? Because a lot of people, right, have kind of jumped on the Rivals 2 hype train. But in the end, no matter what, Rivals 1 will still have a special place in all of our hearts.
Yep, that 16-bit, 64-bit, or whatever you want to call it, art style is something that's always going to resonate with me. And the introduction to it is actually one of the best things that could have happened to me, not only because of the friends that you make along the way, just like, you know, your good old anime. And the competitive scene now actually going into Rivals 2 now is actually getting humongous, and how they continue to develop the games and continue to progress. And yeah, Rivals 1 is still going to be near and dear to us all. That's why we're hosting this bracket today in Vortex Gallery.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you want to help out that bracket, make sure to claim the codes in the Matcherino links in the chat. I mean, we want to make sure that we can get people as much support as possible. But in the meantime, we're just going to have to take a quick look at bracket as a whole. And,
You didn't see shit, by the way. You didn't see shit. Continue.
Matcherino.
All right, and here we go. Yes. Matcherino, like we were saying, just make sure to click those links in the chat. Go ahead and contribute as much as possible. It's completely free. Does not cost you a single thing to contribute.
You just put in the code, and you can give them the corresponding price for 25 cents or $2.75, but we can get that higher if we can continue. Just put in the code. You don't even have to put any type of cash on it. But the support is greatly appreciated.
Exactly. Support always going to be very much appreciated here. And we're going to be starting things off with Inaba versus Nosy Nate, Ori versus Rano, a matchup forged in flame. Very, very volatile matchup, right? At the top level of play, it's one of those matchups that you could argue is relatively close to even. But instead we are not going to be getting the Rano, where you can say going to be getting the Palm here. Now, Palm versus Ori, another one of those matchups, right? That is, very volatile, right? Both of these characters complete lightweights.
Yeah, now actually going for a couple of combos that time. Gonna get parried for their troubles, and now going for a couple of up kills. Ori is now the situation starts off as soon as you try to avoid those nairs as much as possible, trying to get and scoop them up. Not quite going to be able to combo after the command grab.
Yeah, I mean, you can see right now Inaba just gonna continue to keep that percent lead, gonna continue to try to knock Nosy Nate off stage, as the Ori still looking for that first kill, just needs one big hit, and you can see the fishing start up.
So going command grab one more time, sending them outside with the fair. All of the notes, all of the keys in the music sheet are full on deck, and the differential is only about 6%. Sign is going to go offline up there, going to hit him one more time, but just directly with a down there and responding with an up strong. First stock belonging to Ori, but responding back rapidly is going to be Nosy Nate with that fair.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier, Chopper. It's just super volatile between both of these characters, both of these players. And now Ori v Palm still super back and forth. The down air out of disadvantage is barely managing to get right past that up air. And Inaba now in a bit of trouble, taking one more fair and needs to find a way back onto stage and back to reset that neutral.
Just barely missing that time with the forward strong moving in, but now multi-hits combinations with Sign. Just in case you forgot, if you've been actually labbing too much of Rivals 2, Ori is in this game and it's been cooking. So far so good.
Strong?
Oh, no! Too late for the punish.
A little bit too late on that punish, and Inaba just whiffs a guaranteed kill, looking for that down strong, looking for some way how to get this stock here, but needs to find an up strong, needs to find a forward strong, needs to find some way how to reset the neutral.
And grab is not quite going to go in, but the multi-hits that time are going to be enough to take away that stock after that forward strong from Ori, and responding back with the parry, the projectile. The differential is actually pretty big, 70+ dash attack going in. Nosy Nate maintaining stage control. Not what you wanted if you were Inaba.
Yeah, Inaba gonna be dropping down in game number 1 due to missing out on that wall jump, but either way, it's still a full set, right? Best of 3 right now, first of 2, so you can see that at the very least, Nosy Nate gonna be able to take that commanding lead. Inaba now on the back foot, needs to find a way how to get back into the swing of things.
Now the tension is gonna start running high because you need to at least win 2 games to not go into the loser's bracket. And yes, it is Rivals 1. We do have a small amount of players that time, but nobody wants to be in loser's bracket because it's one and done, especially if you lose another best of 3. But actually moving to Merchant Port, what do you think of the stage for Ori?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as far as the stage goes, Ori doesn't have any bad stages, so it's more of a matter of personal comfort and taking away comfort stages from your opponent. And this isn't one of the stages I'd say, oh, Palm heavily succeeds on this stage, so I think this is perfectly fine for Inaba here. And you can see right now a lot more neutral play, but Inaba just struggling to get past Nosy Nate's advantage state.
Utilization of the sour spot, forward air, and continuing the combo upwards. Danger zone, especially if you have Ori just trying to juggle you as much as possible. Oh, forward strong barely missing, but the down strong is going to connect them and send them to the left side, and the back air sealing the deal for the first stock for Ori.
Yeah, and Inaba with that back air just gonna barely be able to catch out Nosy Nate off guard. I'm almost certain that was a catch on a float attempt, and yeeting themselves off stage there. That was almost really rough, but instead Inaba now able to start to run away with this, starting to try to get as much extra credit as possible.
Parried that time, but just gonna go for the down tilt up air, taking away that stock with the differential, or at least extra credit of 25%. Not exactly the greatest thing in the world if you're Ori, but just maintaining that pressure onto the stage and looking for a couple of forward strongs that time. Gonna hit him that time, third time's the charm, and it's just gonna send them flying. That stock is gone.
Yeah, Nosy Nate not quite gonna be ready to deal with the onslaught of forward strong. So now on the back foot, last stock remaining, could be in trouble here as Inaba now just trying with the fairs, with the nairs to start up more and more combos, start up more and more extra credit. But with the full stock lead like this, the moment that you get yourself lapping things up, Inaba might as well skip the extra credit because this assignment looks fully completed.
Oh, a couple of backers that time for Palm. And the differential 20%. Command grab is going to come out, but it's not going to hit anything. And just tacking in place is going to let you swallow the entirety of the multi-hit up strong that's available for Ori. Differential of only 3% now. Command grab barely missing down air. Going to get punished with a forward tilt and now sending them flying with an up air. 105% onto the Ori. What are you made of, Inaba? They need to be careful. Now we are in the final stretch of game 2.
Yeah, and you can see Inaba just looking for the strong attack, looking for some way how to change up things, just wanting to end this game.
Oh.
But up air from Nosy Nate going to be able to even out the stock count. 97% is nothing to scoff at. And how about just the full stock?
1-1 looks like the counter pick and at least the comfort pick for Inaba, like you mentioned beforehand. Paying a lot of dividends this time around. Game number 3 between these two players. None of them want that losers bracket. Nosy Nate looked very comfortable in that first game, but Inaba starting to pick it up with the combinations that Ori is known for. What are the adaptations for each player for this game 3?
Yeah, honestly, the big question I have between both of these players is who exactly is going to be taking control of that neutral, taking control of, just the stage as a whole, right? So much of the time, Palm as a character struggles to find ways how to actually approach into whiff punish heavy characters like Ori. But Inaba not really looking at whiff punishing, looking more to just throw themselves in, hope for the best, and get as much damage as possible. And we're seeing the damage come out in dividends here.
Working out slowly but surely, and the differential was at 1% at one point. Just putting up the music sheets one more time, setting them up for the back air. Differential of 3% now. The musical notes coming in, but actually read a jump in with that up strong.
Yeah, and Inaba with the up strong gonna be able to take stock number 1, but fired straight back from Nosy Nate here. The Palm gonna be able to take quite a bit of damage as the lead, but Inaba still very much in this. Only 20% separates these players, and no longer is there much of any difference.
Yeah, neck and neck. They are both right now. Nair's connecting that time up air, sending them to the right side, and anti-air on that up tilt. The forward air is not quite gonna do enough. 53% to 41. Now dash attack hitting by Ori, but read the attack onto and actually went for that down strong. But now another interception onto the jump with that up strong, and Ori taking a commanding lead. But now we're seeing up airs coming out, down airs, and forward strong sealing the deal for Ori.
Yeah, and the Forge Strong going to be able to once again put Inaba in the lead here, and this is where we see Inaba at their strongest, able to just rack up as much damage as possible, try to avoid the kill moves coming in from Nosy Nate, but the moment that the Palm gets to high percent, we're starting to see Inaba just kind of fish for these kill moves in neutral, which a lot of the time is what gets Ori punished, but it's working out for Inaba, so there's no real need to change things up.
Little overzealous on those forward strongs as well. Still, all of this is going to be extra credit for Ori. 72% so far. They need to be careful not to get hit by that multi-hit forward strong. Up air is going to seal the deal. A little bit of a hill to climb for Nosy Nate. Let's see if they're going to be able to clutch this out, or if Ori is going to bring the run back and win 2 games in a row.
Yeah, but this is exactly what we were talking about, Chopper, and we're gonna see the Upstrong start to come on out. Inaba, as we know, just loves to throw out those kill strongs, those kill moves, the moment that Palm is at kill percent here, but Nosy Nate just understands that Inaba wants one of those kill opportunities and just looking for some sort of punish. Forward Strong not going to be close to killing just yet, and Upstrong hitting would absolutely seal the deal.
Oh, the multi-hit gets intercepted by Poem. And what could have been the victory for Inaba? It's not done yet! Even if you parry the last few notes that Poem had available, the invincibility is still going to win out Forward Strong to get that game. Inaba still in winner's side, and unfortunately Poem, Nosy Nate in losers.
Yeah, Inaba going to be making their way through the winner's side. That Forge Strong immediately after that note parry going to work out in their favor. Nosy Nate said, all right, you know what? I see that parry. I raise you one of my own. But unfortunately... Oh my goodness.
Bless you.
Sorry. Thank you. Unfortunately, when you parry a parried note back, you're not going to be able to get your invincibility, so Inaba going to be able to take full advantage of it and punishing Nosy Nate on that recovery there. But in the end, it is going to be the Ori moving on. You know, love to see some Ori representation here. A relatively underplayed character, but now that does it for the first set of the day here.
Keep in mind,
here,
we have a situation in bracket here, so please give a moment while we get our next match set up.
So we're just going to get a few things fixed up real quick, but once that is finished up, we should be underway with the next set of the day. But Chopper, as far as I'm concerned, you know, what better way to kick things off than an underplayed character versus an underplayed character?
It was very cool to see, and again, it's been a while since we've actually done commentary together, and I believe that one of the few times that I actually did Rivals 1 was when we were in that Vortex gallery. So got a couple of things. Rivals Academy is still a thing as well, but now moving on to Rivals 2, obviously. With the old in, with the new, I suppose, but still, looking at the gameplay, there were a lot of things.
Keep the old in.
Of course. Out with the old, no. Stay with the old and just keep playing the new. We play both. Let's play both.
And build on the old, bring in the new.
There we go. That sounds a lot better than what I was saying. But anyway, yeah, Palm and Ori. Very interesting how you can get those combinations in, especially Ori seeing so many ups and downs, being considered the best character by many, and then receiving a couple of notches down, and then still being the best. Now, moving into a roller coaster of the meta. Palm, creativity-wise, is still some of the more interesting characters as well, being a war chop character itself. Just shifting the meta towards a lot of the things that we're actually used to seeing, but again, super interesting overall, and I hope to see more of that as we continue on in the bracket.
Yeah, I'd love to see more and more of that, but right now, I honestly, my biggest question here, right, is because when it comes to the Ori versus Palm matchup, so much of that matchup really, at the very least at the top level, revolves around Palm struggles to approach into Ori properly without whiffing a move, and Ori just absolutely demolishes Palm the moment that she whiffs anything. So it's just a matter of playing that footsies, playing that neutral, and the moment that one of these characters slips up, it could just turn into the immediate kill, right? It's a classic standard with Ori, where you get hit once, you take 80% or die. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket, we're seeing something very, very different from Ori Palm. We're seeing the Crag versus the Forsburn here. And remember, Crag Force is one of those matchups that's honestly relatively difficult to figure out who wins it outright, because when you look at Crags and you look at Force players, it's like, all right, well, both of these players obviously pretty good, but the one player you watch at the top level is Cake Assault, and Cake Assault just makes this matchup look unwinnable. But that's Cake.
Absolutely. And yeah, this just brings back a lot of memories of the same developers actually writing a little bit of a thesis when it came to just telling people, hey, Forsburn is not that good. Cake Assault is just good, and you need to get good at the matchup. That's all you need to do, right? So, super interesting that we're going to see this matchup in Crag. The vein of the existence for a lot of people, including myself.
Including me. I fucking hate that beetle. Fuck you, Watermelon.
Yeah, but right now we're already seeing much more high octane gameplay. Astra going straight on in, doing so much more damage at the very beginning of this match, and Delta Parallax getting mixed up bit by bit.
Going for a couple of combinations that time. It's so weird to see Crag at a normal at a normal height rather than Rivals 2, which is he's ginormous. But seeing the Forsburn again one more time, just going for those cancels onto the up tilts, and combination already up to 88%, trying to get that fair going. That still hasn't changed, however, actually going for that down special that time on the corner and trying to survive that time. Back air is going to miss from Crag, but is going to hit by Forsburn. Now the problem is always going to be how are you going to KO Crag, and how Forsburn is going to do it. Trying to go for that down strong, not quite going to being able to seal the deal. Back air is going to be correctly DI'd and continuing on the outside, but now that time that down air just sending him to the side.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a down air, it was a down air on that double jump just to make sure to punish so many of Delta Parallax's habits. Astra already getting the download, and we're seeing here, I mean, we got the parry timing mix-up, we got the punish on the high pillar, and all of a sudden we've got a 2-stock lead for Astra here. Not going to be able to get that parry, but is going to be able to get a lot of damage starting off.
Back air into down air, 64%. All of that is extra credit, but the fair is going to seal the deal for Crag. Continues to move around the stage. This is one of the stages that I do miss from Rivals 1. I love this stage and I love this song, but not quite. Still in Rivals 2. Hopefully we can get it soon. In the meantime, we are seeing great gameplay from Rivals 1 already at 104% and mixing up left and right wherever Forsburn is going. I have no idea what Astra is doing. But, I mean, moving around between the smokes, that is what Forsburn loves to do.
Yeah, I mean, Astra just going to continue to punish Delta, just getting as much damage off as possible, just going straight through the smoke, opting to make a statement with that uppie directly into the Crag. And we can see right now Astra almost certainly going to be going down here if Delta can pull off this edge guard. And this edge guard is a necessity if Delta wants to stay in this game. The taunt? Okay.
Feeling it, trying to get some stuff going one more time. A couple of near hits that time around, but actually being able to tech that, super brilliant. And now the fair coming in, predicting where Forsburn was actually going to go with the rock and continuing to seal it. But however, the combust, or rather, I think that was the up special.
That was just uppie. That was just uppie straight
up. 200+%, they're definitely going to be a K move. So, okay, we'll take those.
Yeah, I mean, the 200+% up be going to be able to take that stock for Astra. And, I mean, game number 1, starting things off on Tower of Heaven, a very, very strong stage for Forsburn as the characters just manages to get so much done with those constant plat drops. But in the end, Astra going to be able to take game number 1. And the question is what Delta Parallax does as the response here. There's only so many ways that you can play this matchup as Crag. And honestly, with so much of it being spent off stage against Astra, I think that a bigger stage would work just fine. And the mines seem to be the place to choose.
Going in the mines, as you correctly mentioned, Anti, and now trying to get some combinations on the ground and continuing to put up the offense. Horseman trying to move around a little bit, but actually trying to move in between whatever Crag wants to do now, and the combinations are going to come in slowly but surely down there, and just sending out the clone to be a nuisance more than anything else. Crag trying to get established their footing, but not quite being able to do so.
Yeah, and you can see Astra just looking to try to hit confirm a few of these options, but not ready on some of these weak hits, as Delta Parallax is going to be able to keep things a lot more even. The percents themselves don't necessarily look the most even, but you have to remember this is still a heavyweight versus a midweight here. And Badger Cove Mines, very large blast zones, so you're still going to be able to stay alive a little bit longer. Back air still not going to purple, thanks to the blast zones that we were just talking about.
Yeah, everybody and their mother knows already, Anti, that whenever the clone is going to come out, they're usually just trying to get some more damage in and explode it, but that time actually mixes them up and mixed me up too. That's the first stock for the first burn.
Yeah, I mean, Astra just spent so much time sending the clones out towards Delta, just getting a lot of those explosions. So now the moment that Delta thinks, oh, it's going to be an explosion, I'm going to parry this, Astra just double jump dares to punish. But immediately, once again, Astra's starting to get off to the swing of things with a big lead in stock number 2. But if you can avoid dying here as Delta, you can already avoid the same strength of that stock in the last game.
And doing such a tremendous job. That's beautiful defense right there, Anti. I am at the mindset that, yeah, you can get some more percentage in as much as possible. As long as you don't kill me with anything, we're good to go. I can take the hit. And so far, Astra has been able to take the hit on this first stock. That forward tilt is not quite going to be enough. Barely missing the forward air that time. Crag is edge guard situation, but actually multi-hit on the nairs as they clank against the column. And they need to be careful. Jab check that time. And moving in, look at all that extra credit, 114% onto the Crag on their second stock.
Yeah, and Astra right now just honestly the one looking like the heavyweight here, and at the very least hitting really, really hard. 139% and counting. We're also seeing a lot of these baby dash jabs come on in, but in the end, the Elden Ring in neutral to the up air from Delta Parallax gonna be able to seal out that stock, which was very, very much needed here. But right now, Astra very much in control.
Moving in that time, we're trying to see which ending for Elden Ring we're gonna get. Are we going to get the Frenzied Flame of Crag? Is Alex Alchemy gonna cry as we see Crag win? Is he going to be able to actually make this comeback? But now Astra is actually looking pretty dominant in this second stock. He's putting up the smoke and letting Crag just try to wallow away.
Yeah, just able to sneak right back onto stage here. And Delta Parallax, once again, struggling to try to even things up. The 22% on Crag isn't the craziest right now. The big thing is on a stage like this, Forsburn still does have access to these platforms, still has access to a lot of more neutral play. But the jabs, once again, sending the Crag off stage. How does Astra play this? Just able to time it past those parries, not gonna be able to kill with the combust, and up B directly into the Crag, not going to end things, but still tolling the beginning of the end.
Down strong, either good DI by Delta Parallax, but not quite going to be able to finish off. Snipe with the rock, still not going to be able to do it. Goes through the platform to mix up the recovery. Rocks being sent out one more time, just throwing the boulders away. Rocks just trying to intercept the clone at least, and actually moving away a couple of wave dashes. Downstrong trying to read the roll in, not being able to do so. Slowly but surely actually going in with the rock, and then the assist with the forward air. Gonna seal the deal for this stock, but again, side B gonna be punished. Sour spot back here that time. Crag needs to be careful. Brilliant tech. Continuing on with the pursuit. It's maintaining stage control. Astra is. We know how dangerous Crag can be, especially in those last stock scenarios. 200% of Delta Parallax.
I mean,
still not being
Please die already.
Yeah, I mean, we can already see that, percent is glowing on Delta Parallax. Astra needs to weigh how to do this. I swear to God, Astra almost manages to drop down onto that pillar here, looking for some kind of a parry. But right now, Astra just needs to find some sort of way how to kill here. Delta Parallax could be in trouble. And Astra, watch your back at the next Riptide.
What the fuck, dude?
Not like that, please.
Astra, I have somewhere to be. I need you to. I need whoever's in the lead to finish.
I guess because someone heard that I hate Craig in this game, they heard that like, all right, I'm gonna just wait a while, Alex. Like they have a vendetta against me, I swear.
Let him cook. And the Craig cooked. Psychological warfare versus the force burn. That's how you do it, Anti.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it is going to be Astra dropping down there. Delta Parallax able to barely eke that one out, able to sneak right past the force burn. And in the end, all of us, the ones being deceived, as game number 3 is going to be underway very, very soon here. But now on the... I cannot believe that it's been so long since I've seen Treetop that I don't know. Like, I miss this stage.
Lateral blast zones are going to be pretty far away. Not that much movement available for either player on the level, but a couple of back airs every single time. Just go ahead and DI them. Crag things, I suppose. Nair trying to get rid of the smoke, and now multi-hits onto the Nair that time. 28% now to 95. Dash attack, trying to hit. The fair that time, sending force burn onto the outside. Not quite being able to do anything with the rock. What is going to happen now? Actually sending it downward. Pretty good plan by Astra. Continues to maintain the lead and does so as well with the parry onto the down strong.
Yeah, and you can see right now, Astra looking for the combust, not going to be able to do much more than just damage, but sometimes damage isn't what you need. Elden Ring to even up that stock count, and this is the first time that Delta has been able to even out that stock count very, very quickly here. So right now, with that back air to start things off, Astra getting a little bit of damage onto the Crag, but oh my God, Delta, if at first you succeed, why change it, right? As Astra right now, the one on the back foot, needs to find a way back into the swing of things. And I am all for the absolute return for Delta.
Oh man, domination that time is going to let him go, but the wall jump is still going to be available for you. Down strong that time, not quite going to be enough either, but actually just sealing the deal.
Yeah, I mean, Delta very much had Pillar, so just did not quite manage to get it off in time there. So now Astra able to even up that stock count, as Delta's still trying to find a way how to get back into the swing of things, as the percent lead doesn't mean much if you can't retain this stage control. Up B, not going to do it next to the wall, instead going very, very far off stage, and the clone going to be beaten up for that side B cancel. But at the very least, Delta is still very much in this, and so is Astra.
Now moving in, differential of over 20% that time, trying to seal the deal. Either of them, dash attack barely missing by Crag that time, force burn. Moving around with the clone, not going to cancel the sight special for Crag. Multi-hits onto the Nair that time, using it to actually spin to win. Boulders coming in to protect themselves as well. Differential of 30%. They need to be careful. Not quite going to be able to hit the killing blow.
Yeah, and right now, a single one of these moves could kill, and there it is. Out of nowhere, Astra going to be able to take game number 3 in what turned into a nail-biter of a set towards the very, very end.
Tremendous play by both, but Astra sealing the deal, clutching it out in the end after what could have been a disastrous game 2 mental-wise. I mean, after having a tremendous lead and then the Crag out of nowhere being able to take it, and then you know what Crag does, especially when they take that stock, momentum just starts to kick in, and all of a sudden you have 80% and you lost both of your stocks for some reason, because that's just who Crag is as a character.
Yeah, I mean, the heavyweight hitters, definitely not anyone that you want to be sleeping on anytime soon enough, though. But now I do believe
We have
that
one more pre-top 8 match to go. It's going to be a top 8 qualifier, actually. Stay tuned.
All right, one more is going to be a top 8 qualifier for us here. And as far as I'm aware, the only one left will still have at the very least, a repeat of someone that we've already seen on stream. So we're going to be seeing some familiar names already. So we'll have to see how things go. It is going to be Delta duking it out in losers, trying to find that top 8 slot here. Luxor versus Delta, just battling out toe to toe.
Ronald Craig, the vein of my existence with Ronald, still continues to be that Craig. We know the combinations that Ronald can actually have on deck if they manage to actually get all of the hits in. But being able to seal the deal versus Craig is always going to be like the main game plan for any character, but for Ronald specifically as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting to see who takes it between Rano and Craig. So I will say, Rano, traditionally speaking, does eke things out over Crag, but it's all about that edge guard. It's all about taking Crag off stage and immediately punishing. But right now, Luxor needs to be in the right position to actually go for those edge guards. And we've already seen Delta Parallax, you don't want to be sleeping on this guy when it comes to the edge guards.
Talk about things that we were missing from Rivals 1 and Rivals 2. I miss that dash attack. I love Ronald's dash attack in this game, but I can't combo into it anymore because it would be way too broken, and I understand why. I still want it in the game. But that being said, however, we're seeing the down strong coming in by the Crag and now sending him on the outside. Tremendous DI for twice. On that third time, not quite being able to actually, third time's the charm, as they say.
Yeah, and in the end, Delta going to be able to take stock number 1 of this game here. And the Crag just trying to find his way into that top 8 slot. And Rano with that poison stack able to take up quite a bit of damage, but the damage itself isn't going to matter nearly as much as the stage control here. 82% already on the second stock for that Rano, and 1 forward air would do it, but the forward strong going to oblige when the forward air didn't connect.
Oh, moving in, and now Crag is cooking one more time. Like we discussed it beforehand, Anti, all of a sudden, you get hit once by the Crag and you're down 2 stocks, and the combinations continue in their favor. Momentum shifting slowly but surely after the forward tilt. Rock trying to impede any type of recovery that Ronald wants to do. Back air, not quite being able to seal the deal that time. And now just patiently waiting. Crag is on the outside. Fair, hitting him on the mark. A couple of darts. And just trying to get a punish in, but Rano actually just goes downhill in Delta Parallax with the first game.
Yeah, unfortunate for Luxor there, but in the end, Delta Parallax going to be able to take game number 1. And I was about to say, right, the biggest thing about the Crag-Rano matchup is you need to be going off stage against Crag. You need to be dropping down and punishing all of those wall pillars. And Luxor just wasn't quite in the right position a lot of those times. And the moment that Luxor did end up going off stage to try to get that edge guard, it turned into a whiff and an unfortunate SD that decided game number 1. But in the end, the Crag is still very much in the thick of things, as we saw in Winterside.
See what's going to happen now. Delta Parallax 1 win away from actually securing top 8 here at the Vortex Gallery. And rest assured that Alex Alchemy is not happy with this. So let's see if Rano can bring it back.
This is giving me PTSD. I have no idea, cabrón.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see right now, Delta just trying to go straight for the kills, not even opting for those standard 1-2 hits. Instead, starting to cook a little bit here, and Luxor whiffing out on that upstrong, the larger stage, the larger size between the stage and the platforms on Ethereal Gates, just not quite going to be able to allow Rano up strong to connect. The down air, on the other hand, still very much going to connect directly into that Rano's face.
Man, 104% still not being able to KO the Crag, and now a couple of moves in. Dash attack onto the forward tilt for 37. Parries, now damn strong. Moving him on the outside. Back air connecting that time. A couple of multi-hits onto that up air. I do miss that up air as well, Anti. The up air in this game, or at least in Rivals 2, does not kill for shit. But now we are seeing the old reliable down tilt into up strong.
Yeah, down tilt up strong gonna kill no matter the game, no matter the percent, and no matter the DI in that moment, as we're seeing Delta Parallax starting to get so much more control here, as NA+CA just with these nairs trying to take some kind of stage control right back, but the forward air says, who cares about stage control when you can simply drop kick your opponents?
Forward tilt going outside, looking in. Managing to put the pillar that time. Nair's getting the combination sweet spot on that up strong, barely sealing the deal for Brano. Trying to at least make it a tied game in stocks. Trying to go in that time, back here, hit it with the sweet spot. Now double Nairs. Not quite being able to actually get the KO in. Up strong, sending him right onto the outside. Down strong is not quite going to be enough. Brano barely surviving. Boulder toss. Sending him aside, trying to get onto the stage with the tongue. Side special, not quite hitting the mark. And now another up air by Crag. The survivability of the Rano is going to end as we see another up air getting it done. And Alex Alchemy is hating himself as we have a Crag in top 8.
Yeah, Crag making their way to top 8. Delta Parallax saying, all right, you already saw how much I refused to die in game number 2 of the last set. Now watch me refuse to die in loser's side. And that's going to punch his ticket all the way into top 8 here. We're going to be starting things up with top 8 soon enough into some best of 5 sets. You know, a few names that we didn't see quite so far. You saw nothing there. But in the end, all right, we've got some interesting names here, as we already know. CEO of RNG making their way into top 8. Astra, Majin Miku, KD8, Nosy Nate, Delta Parallax, and Strupp, unfortunately not with us today. So that does mean that Inaba, congratulations on making top 6.
Doing a tremendous job that time. We have an Ori in top 6, like you mentioned beforehand, that time. And now CEO of RNG versus Astra on one side, and we have double force burns actually being played on winner's bracket. And on the bottom side, we have Nosy Nate, which we saw before, versus Delta Parallax with a Poem and Crag matchup. That's going to be super interesting.
Yeah, definitely going to be super interesting here. And I do believe if we take a quick look at the bracket itself, I think this is actually CEO of RNG's first set of the day. So when your first set of the day is up against Astra, you know, one of the higher seeds of the tournament, it's definitely one of those more difficult positions to find yourself in. So right now, the question is between that Forest Burn and that Shovel Knight, who is going to be the winner there? On the other hand, you know, you see some other players like, you know, Majin Miku, like KD8, some people who you might be able to recognize through some of the Rivals tournaments, some of the Twitch chats here and there. But I'm very excited to see what exactly these players have in store for us and what Alex has in store for us for the first set of top 8.
I'm still setting up. Bear with me. Bear with me.
Okay, no worries, no worries. You know, don't want to pressure you or anything like that. Oops.
We saw nothing.
I do not like replays, as you can tell. Please continue.
It's all good. I mean, replays is a necessary evil, is what I'd say sometimes. But we're seeing Astra coming back onto stage, going to be able to bring things back into play with that Force Burn. CEO of RNG, bring out the Shovel Knight. There's not too much RNG in Rivals, but at the very least, with a name like that, Shovel Knight is very much the #1 character that came to mind.
Force Burn, Shovel Knight. Gonna be an interesting matchup in and of itself. And yeah, Force Burn. Trying to predict, who is it? Is it the clone or is it the real Force Burn hitting you with that forward tilt? We're now seeing the combinations of SK hit one more time. Again, another one of the things that we miss from Rivals 1 that's not in Rivals 2, SK. SK trying to go in slowly but surely, just hitting him with a couple of flares, and now we're seeing the shovels coming in on deck. Not quite going to be able to actually hit him with that up special, just sending him right up to the side. and actually going for Ghost Gloves.
Yeah, and with the Ghost Gloves available, all of a sudden the Shovel Knight has so much more control over that neutral, so much more control, whether or not it's the back air, whether or not it's the Ghost Gloves, whether or not it is just that Nair in neutral. There's just a lot more to be done with that SK, but you can't be fishing there against the Force Burn.
I had to believe that that was definitely a misinput by them. Maybe they wanted a side special that time. Again, the one time that we did see them actually going downwards was to actually get the golden fish for the monies. Was able to actually buy the Ghost Glove with them and actually sealing the deal Ghost Glove into forward strong. And now we're seeing it again actually going onto the outside. He's using the wall jump to recover once again, but they need to be careful because that's another stock loss, and Astra is looking out for blood.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful stuff coming in from Astra there, able to catch out CEO of RNG's roll habits. And right now, we're seeing a lot of these standard punishes coming from Astra just pay out dividends. Just doing the tried and true, nothing too crazy, but the Ghost Gloves across the stage to put Astra in a horrible position. No up B into the smoke just yet here, but you got to be so careful as Astra, and now final stock between both of these players.
Moving a lot closer. A couple of Ghost Gloves that time, but the differential is only 40+%. Now beautiful reads on the rolls like you mentioned beforehand. Anti down strong is going to hit on the mark for SK. Down there actually sending him upwards that time. Multi hits onto the fares. Now
oh,
that was nasty!
And just like that, CEO of RNG able to bring Astra all the way to that side blast zone and past the limit. Gonna be able to take that one in the very end there. And honestly, my big question here is, Astra, what exactly do you do to get back into the swing of things? Because we saw Astra had so many of those reads, so much of that control there. And all of a sudden going to be the one dropping game number one as CEO of RNG definitely winning out in game number one.
I loved the usage of the fair there just to set him up for the sweet spot up special and getting rid of that stock. We did see it before in the game. Almost worked out, but not quite. And yes, you just sealed the deal for that first game as well. So Force Burn on the back pedal that time, but still plenty of time to actually adapt because we are in top 8 and this would be a best of 5 scenario.
Yeah, and right now, CEO of RNG going to just immediately jump off stage, look for the fish, and at the very least, 500 gold going to be a good start. And you can see CEO of RNG able to just immediately pull things back with all of that money. But I don't know, Astra right now just looking to try to take that lead, and these two Titans are just bouncing back and forth with these percent leads. Honestly, my big question here, Chopper, is what in the world do you do if you're Astra, right? Because the early reads on CEO of RNG's habits didn't really result in too many kills. There was one that resulted in a kill, but after that, you're all of a sudden conditioning those habits away from your opponent when you're going to need to cash in on them later when it really matters.
Yeah, but at least we are seeing that the backer is going to seal the deal for that first stock anti. Again, it has to do a lot with the pressure and how you are going to KO if you are Force Burn. And moving and just anticipating the tilts, or at least the moves that SK has that can be punishable. But they need to be careful. That shovel is going to send them flying upwards and continuing on to pursuit.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, we've got a late game Shovel Knight on board, full build for CEO of RNG, and all of a sudden looking for the full-on kill, not quite going to be able to get it. Another one of those aggressive uppies coming in from Astra. We've seen that time and time again, but it hasn't been punished just yet, and that makes me wonder, is CEO of RNG ready to punish that one and just holding on to that habit at the very end? Or is it just going to be a continued thing that Astra is able to go for and get away with?
Going for Ghost Gloves that time. Upstrong not quite going to connect. Propeller sending them right onto the level. Ghost Gloves one more time. Trying to go for the forward strong. And we saw it, but not actually coming out on time. Forsberg actually managing to intercept. Down air. Sending him outside. Combust going to get teched. They need to be careful with that up tilt as well. One more time. Oh! Sending him flying with the down strong.
Yeah, parry into the down strong, not gonna purple, but very much going to be too difficult to DI to survive there. Astra needs some way how to seal out this stock. Down tilt not going to do it, but the Ghost Gloves once again coming in from CEO of RNG to take that stage control. We're just needing to see one down air, one back air from Astra to even out that stock count. Another one of those uppies not going to work out, but so much extra credit for CEO of RNG. The down strong from the fours to pay things back. The big question is, are you going to be able to pay back this entire set?
It's looking pretty difficult so far. CEO of RNG trying to move into a 2-0 scenario. That's highly going to favor them to actually win this series. Going for up strong one more time, combust, or at least up special onto SK to avoid actually getting even hit even more now. Now 121% are using up strong to throw out the rock. Not quite going to be able to hit any type of marks, but actually being used to tech. Astra is, they need to be careful now, down strong. Oh my god. Moving in and now getting cheeky, but actually just seals it with that up strong.
Yeah, Upstrong coming in from CEO of RNG, going to be able to take that stock, take that game. And now that it is a best of 5, Astra still has a few games to work with. But the big question is, who is going to be taking it in the end?
Looking pretty good for the Shovel Knight. And Astra trying to move into a more adaptive state. And now we're in the forest. See if it's going to be beneficial actually use those double platforms to try to move around. But now, if they continue with these edge guard scenarios, it looks like CEO could be able to take that game 3 as well. But now these situations are looking to put on pressure onto the SK. Multi-hits on the Nair, getting him up to 44. Up tilt hitting that time by SK, and now a couple of hits on the fair, making Force Burn reset neutral.
Yeah, and right now, Astra could be in a lot of trouble here as there's just hit after hit after hit just landing directly onto the Forsburn. CEO of RNG right now still building up to get to those early relics, that early build SK. We saw just how terrifying late game SK was. One parry into the meaty F-Strong, put some extra sauce on it, and gonna be able to take stock number 1. CEO of RNG poised for a 3-0.
Man, a couple of fairs, and Astra's looking like a deer in the headlights, not quite being able to know what to do. And now Ghost Gloves comes into play, like you mentioned beforehand, Anti. This is a late game SK already onto the second stock. That's one of the things that you can definitely do if you're Force Burn. As soon as you see the Ghost Gloves coming, just go ahead and parry that. You're at least going to perfect and get a little bit of invincibility when you... the prediction!
Oh my god.
That was a hard read if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and we can see CEO of RNG looking to take this stock, looking to take this set, looking to take the 3-0. There's still a few more stocks to play with, but the SK just not something that I think anyone anticipated to see. 1 in top 8 as far as the seeding is concerned, 2 winning against one of the higher seeds, and Astra just needs to find a way how to take all this momentum back as CEO of RNG off stage, looking to recover, able to get back on, but who comes out on top here will decide this entire game.
And if was to run away, Forsburn is slowly but surely trying to get some more hits in. The differential being only up to 35, and now, the multi-hits on that up air, sealing that stock. 1 game away, at least 1 stock away from CEO to try and seal the deal with a 3-0, but definitely Astra having something to say about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, Chopper, right? Astra has the read on a lot of CEO of RNG's habits, but it's about saving it for when it really matters. And when it does matter for Astra, gets that jab 2 into roll read down strong tech chase. But right now, getting back into control, getting back into the swing of things as CEO of RNG firing right back on the full build Shovel Knight.
Moving in with the propeller that time to extend recognition, especially since Forceman has been running away from him.
Oh!
Speed on the roll in, not sealing the deal that time yet. Oh my god, trying to go for it that time as well. Forward strong coming in. And now the boulder's actually going to hit him. Another forward strong down air is going to be enough with the signature move from the Shovel Knight series. The down air going to propel CEO RNG onto the next round of Winner's Bracket.
Yeah, and you saw Astra DIing out on that down air, trying to avoid a potential follow-up off of that, trying to avoid a dare into reverse uppy, trying to avoid a dare into nair, just literally anything. But in the end, ends up going down to the down air off the side there. CEO of RNG came in 9th seed, was not seeded to make top 8, just took down, as far as I'm aware, the highest seed remaining in this tournament.
Absolutely anti, and he's definitely looking like a favorite to take it all in the Vortex Gallery series. Now we're seeing them pretty comfortable in winners finals. Next up, Majin Miku and KD8 trying to make their claim onto the winner's side. Let's see if they can dethrone this SK, who seems to be having a number as some of the best players that we've seen tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Majin Miku versus KD8 is a matchup that I will say I wasn't anticipating the KD8 Force Burn. I was more of expecting the Maple come on through, but instead, this is what we're going to be seeing, the battle of the Fire Brother characters here. And once again, it is going to be extremely volatile between these two.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure with these replays if because they don't have the same name. So, please give me a moment while I get this started. But go ahead.
How dare you interrupt me, Alex? I was trying to make a solid point about the Lion King plot, which I am not going to be able to because I lost momentum. But nevertheless, the Force Burn and Zetterburn, both pretty favorite characters. We've seen Cake Assault dominate with Force Burn and Zetterburn being one of, for example, LBO was a deep cut for those who just started playing Rivals 2. See the little tuxedo esports and all that jazz, like the skins and whatnot. Yeah, it takes me back.
I miss tuxedo esports.
I miss LBO. I hope he's playing Rivals 2 so we can see him again.
I mean, there's also I forget what exactly the platform fighter is called, but that one that LBO is working on with the team. It's got assists and everything. I keep forgetting exactly what it's called.
Is it Framemakers?
No, not Framemakers.
Okay, it's not Framemakers. Okay,
it wasn't Framemakers. I know
it's not Combo Devils either, right?
It's not Combo Devils. No.
It's not Combo Devils either. Okay, wait, no, hold up. Now I gotta look it up because I'm interested. Hang on.
I know, right? Like, it was it was a very interesting game. It was at last year's Heatwave as a demo, and I'm not sure if it's coming back this year, but we'll have to see whether or not. Well, all things aside, right? LBO, obviously, very, very solid player. But in the end, this is not quite what we're going to be seeing. We're seeing Majin Miku versus KD8, out with the old, in with the new, just throw back to what we were saying a long time ago. But here we are. Now, this is not Cake versus LBO, but this is a newer generation of players.
Now going into the first game, Jules Vale moving in and sealing the deal, and now different combinations of fairs and neutral bees to try to get them going. Deception between the two characters as well. 1-2 up tilt, canceling the up strong differential of 20% that time, and Zetter trying to avoid the big dagger that has Force Burn in their arm. Let's see how they're going to be able to actually play this matchup, Antai.
Yeah, I mean, right now you can see KD8 just spending a lot of time with the smoke, just trying to stay away from Majin Miku as much as possible. And meanwhile, Majin Miku just very, very willing to throw out as many trade moves as possible. Says, all right, you know what? If you're at a high percent, I can eventually kill you. But the problem with being at high percents with these trades is you yourself are going to find yourself at a high percent. But in the end, one jab check does not quite work out in KD8's favor, and the stock lead is completely neutered.
Man, looking great now. KD8 trying to pursue this next stock as well. Trying to go for the neutral specials, however. Now Zetterburn having that Gatling available as well. Be very pivotal to actually get that stock as early as possible. And actually sending the clone out, and it explodes right in the face of Zetterburn, and continuing to the eye in is just going to make him loop onto the Fairs. And Danger Zone activated.
Yeah. Not just Danger Zone activated, Danger Zone fully completed, and now final stock between these two players. Super, super close. Hit after hit, just traded again and again. The clone not gonna opt to get popped there, and KD8 seemingly very uncomfortable without any of this excess smoke. But right now, Majin Miku still looking for more and more opportunities for damage, more and more opportunities to trade. One up tilt to start things off for KD8 though, as the Zetterburn is inching closer and closer to a Game 1 win.
Man, the dash attacks have been Zetterburn's best friend, as well as the Fairs. Barely missing the dagger on that one, and barely missing the Gatling too. Up strong, not quite going to be able to connect. First sprint still on fire. Down air hitting, and the full powered combustion, sealing the deal for the first game.
Yeah, and Combust off of the dare, gonna be able to take things off the top, which is absolutely not the way that you'd anticipate this one coming through. But in the end, KD8 gonna be able to take game number 1 narrowly away from Majin Miku.
Absolutely. What type of adaptations are you expecting from the Zetterburn in this second game, Anti?
Honestly, my big question here isn't just the adaptations from Majin Miku, it's the adaptations from KD8, because so much of what Majin Miku was doing was just running forward, getting the hits, and say, all right, I am more than willing to trade for damage. If I get a hit, I get a hit, and that percent is going to stay here. But KD8 doesn't really seem to be playing the whiff punish game. Seems to say, all right, well, if you are going to opt for the trade damage, I am going to opt for the trade damage. So right now, the big question is, what real differences are we going to see from these two players? Because Majin Miku only knows one direction to hold, and that direction seems to be forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're looking at the pillars actually coming in that time as well. It feels so kind of a little bit weird, because we have seen like the towers on Rivals 2 actually have 3. it looks a little bit weird. Oh, okay. No, just leave me. Let me be. But what is actually pretty real as well is going to be that up strong hitting by the Zetterburn.
Yes, huge amount of power coming in from that Utstrong. Exactly the same way how we saw the first stock taken in game number 1 here. Majin Miku now in a good position, especially when you have the stock lead. Trading for damage is very, very powerful here. Just barely whiffing out on that dash attack. But Majin Miku already able to lap in full on percents.
Now dash attack hitting that time, actually moving out with the wave dash. He just multi-hit Nair onto Upstrong. 2 stocks, and it's looking very dangerous for KDA. Majin Miku smelling blood in the water.
Yeah, Majin Miku looking to take a game number 2 immediately. And that's the thing, right? I say that Majin Miku's been holding forward a lot in neutral, but the moment that Majin Miku lands a hit, it goes all the way forward, just continuing on this onslaught. A 3-stock statement game in game number 2.
Looking crispy, and a lot of it has to do with the amount of aggression that Majin Miku has actually been putting out. Pedal to the metal, just full on throttle, gas pedal just onwards. That's exactly what you need to do, especially with somebody like Firstborn who likes to set up, making sure that they can cover themselves in the smoke, getting those clones activated. So again, if you're Zetterburn, you cannot let them breathe.
I mean, right now it's just going to be a matter of what exactly it is that KD8 does to get back into the swing of things. Because in game number 1, right, it was KD8 getting the better of Majin Miku's aggression. In game number 2 is KD8 not having a way how to deal with all of those hits over and over again. But game number 3 is where things really come into play, and whether or not the download can truly be completed in time for both of these players. We're seeing the hitbox fly back and forth over and over again, left and right. The question is, who is going to be the one crossing the blast zone first?
Who indeed, Anti? So far, we are seeing a lot of combinations again being played by the Zetterburn. Down strong, almost sealing the deal, not quite going to be able to do so. Just hiding away on the smoke, and another multi-hit nair into creativity by the Zetter, taking away this first stock. Now, curiously enough, the counter pick of this stage is something that maybe it could be a little questionable for first burn outside, because again, the reason why they were having so much trouble is because Zetterburn just continues to put on that same pressure, and if you don't have actually any type of movement to be able to get away and reset, it's going to be a hard time, as we already see Zetterburn take away 2 stocks.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Majin Miku just absolutely putting on a clinic. I mean, you can see the tag. A lot of it is about hype for fractured transients, but right now, Majin Miku just fracturing any illusion of KD8 being the stronger player, because look at this, Seed 3 versus Seed 10, who cares about that? Majin Miku going absolutely crazy with it, still not dropping the stock just yet, still able to just absolutely pull out the lead here and still able to sneak right back on stage. The Forsburn struggling to keep up.
In the meantime, already surviving 174% as well. Not much room to move if you're Forsburn. Looking all of that damage, the extra credit for Zetterburn is a total of 2 stocks and 82%. And just hitting him with a down strong damn time is going to get him 1 game away from advancing onto winners finals.
Yeah, and Majin Miku now on the verge of, I was saying that the last set was possibly one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. This one, literally 1 seed further in either direction. So, you know, all of a sudden, there we go. That is the pick that I anticipated from KD8, the Maple coming through here. I mean, I understand that they might not be too keen on playing a lighter weight character into a Zetterburn, but in the end, this is what KD8 has used to make a name for themselves, and the Forsburn is not going to be the option chosen.
Man, moving in so far, let's see what they can do. KD8 trying to actually, like you mentioned beforehand, maybe actually try to play fire with fire, fire with earth, as Maple can really set the tone if they are able to do so. But Majin Miku is looking with a lot of momentum, and to stop it with the Maple that has been pretty much not broken out, or at least not stretched, because we've been seeing a lot of KD8 with Forsburn. How practiced are they with the Maple? So far, looking pretty good. Continuing to be on the advantage. Mix-ups on the recovery, that time by Majin Miku. And now forward strong being baited out, not quite being able to do it. Oh, fair, barely missing.
Yeah, and you can see Majin Miku just looking for some sort of kill here, some sort of opportunity, but this is a very different game between these two now, because KD8 now backing off a little bit further, has the Lily to camp on, but not going to be able to get that tether fair, just not quite have the Maple fully warmed up yet, and Majin Miku going to take advantage of that right now. Down strong for down strong, but it's the Zetterburn coming out on top.
Man, moving in so far so good. Majin Miku is an expert at taking damage but not losing that stock. We're seeing them already up at 192%, 200% now, 208. So not quite good being able to pull the trigger. And barely surviving that time, and the anti-air with the up strong gonna be enough that time.
Yeah, KD8 going to be able to even out that stock count, not taking too much damage in response there, and all of a sudden able to even up that percent count is what I'd say if Majin Miku didn't manage to get those trade hits back and forth. And once again, it is still a matter of Majin Miku holding forward, but we're seeing the timing mix-ups really come into play here. And KD8 gonna drop yet again. 36% on Zetter, still very much doable for the Maple, but Majin Miku on the verge of having an even bigger upset on the records.
Slowly but surely, CEO of RNG is watching this set, feeling maybe a little nervous because this Fire Lion has been putting in the work in this second set of winners semis. Now KDA trying to establish their footing and does so with that forward strong. So they are looking to try and at least force this game 5, but let's see if it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I know I've been saying that Majin Miku was holding forward so much of this entire set, but I think this game as a whole really showcases that Majin Miku was not just doing it without reaction, without any sort of contemplation. There's a lot of the timing mix-ups coming through, and it's messing KD8 up, because this is when you want to be cashing in those timing mix-ups. This is when you want to be cashing in the habits that you conditioned, but KD8 still in the thick of things, still looking to try to bring this one back. 82% and counting on the Zetter. One down strong, though, going to send KD8 to losers, and that's both of our top seeds dropping down.
Man, just scoops them up with that down strong and seals the deal as they were on fire. A lot more knockback, especially if you are so. Means that we have the CEO of RNG versus the settlement that we just saw. So again, pretty hype matchup, because we were talking about the Zetter just going in, but Shovel Knight, we did see it. Like, CEO was not letting up either. Like, they were just in the face of the Forceburn of Astra. So it's going to be a very interesting winners finals, and it is going to be, I feel like, a very quick, maybe 5-game series.
Yeah, maybe, but now we're going to be dropping down into losers where, you know, Inaba, as we noted, did not end up facing against Scrap because Scrap was not available, so Inaba already in the top 6. So on the other side, we do have Nosy Nate versus Delta Parallax, and we saw just what a fight Delta Parallax put up against Astra in winners side, and how Nosy Nate did against Inaba in winners as well here. So now we're gonna have to see who ends up on top between those two players.
Nosy Nate, Delta Parallax, Crag still being alive, and Poem maybe doing Poem things. Combinations with the command grab are going to be super important. Boulder and how it is going to interact with the bodyguard is also going to be something important for this matchup. If Crag is able to actually maintain the Poem at a disadvantage, it could be troublesome for Poem to actually get combos going.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll also note, right, is that so much of the workshop 4 that got ascended to the base cast, like Palm, like Hodan, like Malo, like the Olympia, the one thing that all 4 of the mains of those characters will agree on is my character loses to Crag, right? Every single one of them struggles to deal with how much strength Crag has in the edge guards, in the neutral, in the punish. And in the end, the big question is who comes out on top? Will this be another one of those, man, I hate Crag moments? Or will this be a change in the matchup as a whole here, as Delta Parallax takes on Nosy Nate, Palm versus Crag, back and forth between these two players.
Looking pretty crispy as we go into the first game. The combinations are starting to come into play for Crag. Boulders being tossed left and right. We're seeing Nairs coming in almost that up strong. The bodyguard trying to get the command grab going. No dice for them. We're seeing the up tilts coming out by Crag as well. Boulder trying to come out but intercepted by Poem. Means they are not going to be able to do so. Forward air being hit, and now Boulder sending them downwards and recovering. Forward tilt already at 126%. Like you mentioned beforehand, Anti, as you said, a lot of these characters, if not the Workshop 4, are definitely losing this Crag matchup.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying, it's a rough matchup as the Palm here, as you just have to find a way how to actually approach into Crag, and Crag has such good projectile play, such good hitboxes, just wall you out here, and now with the lead, the question is, how does Nosy Nate actually manage to approach into here? One parry, going to be able to put him into a good position, but Delta Parallax still holding on to this stock.
Man, actually going for the nair that time. Forward, strong. Taking him to 132% command grab is going to come out, but it's not going to hit any type of mark. Still has a couple of music notes available, but they need to be careful. A couple of multi-hits onto the nair that time, trying to go for the fair, not sealing the deal. But now the up air is at least going to take away that stock. The boulder in play by Crag. And now trying to pursue and maybe keep him at a distance, which I think is the correct play, especially if you're Palm. But again, being boulder tossed, just the scraps of rocks that come in after you hit it as well. 129% versus the survivability of a Crag who just hits you with an up air and takes that second stock.
Yeah, and in the end, the Crag going to be able to once again pull out the stock lead, pull out the percent lead, and Nosy Nate in a lot of trouble here. Another Elden Ring coming in through, not quite going to be able to kill this yet. Looks for a fair, not going to do it. But as we were talking about earlier, right, this is such a rough matchup for the Palm, especially once you're down in percent there. Because, you know, Crag has a phenomenal camping game, and Delta Parallax doesn't need to camp whatsoever, simply going to be camping on his wins.
Doing a tremendous job as well on this first game, and Delta Parallax showing the dangers of a Crag, as I can hear Alex Alchemy crying from his house.
I mean, Alex probably not too happy about that game number one, but Delta Parallax very, very much happy about it. Going to continue with this absolute dominance on that Crag in game number one. And the question is, how does Nosy Nate respond in game number two? Because we saw that in the last time. Nosy Nate versus Inaba was just back and forth once again, but in the end, it was the Palm who came back into the swing of things later on.
Let's see what's going to happen in the second game. You are going to want to maybe get some distance if you are Palm, but it's really going to depend, especially because the bigger the stage, the more difficult it's going to be for you to actually take care of Crag. So what exactly are you going to look for if you're Palm? Are you going to look for a shorter stage so you can try to practice your combo game? But Crag is going to suffocate you in the boxing. And if you pick it too big of a stage, then you're not going to be able to KO him. So yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for Nosy. But game number 2 in the tri-plat stage, trying to move into the training area. Some labbing needs to be done for this Crag. Let's see if Nosy can love themselves a W.
Yeah, I mean, right now the question is, what exactly do you choose as your options to deal with the Crag? I think a lot more usage of that Vince, a lot more usage of the back air in neutral is the play for Nosy Nate. But right now, it seems like none of those options are being chosen. Instead, it's just going to be a matter of trying to find some sort of opening, trying to find some sort of initial hit, and turning that into a full-on kill. Delta Parallax going to be able to find it first, though.
Moving in, putting up the sheet music, try to get some floatings underway, but again, Delta Parallax is dominating. And now, all of a sudden, at least some momentum from Nosy.
I mean, right now, look at this Delta Parallax going for the full-on kill already with the aerial down B, but not going to be able to do too much more just yet outside of looking for another. No, does opt for a down air, not opting for an aerial down B again. But in the end, this is a rough position to find yourself in as the Palm.
Man, rock being tossed, using up airs, forward tilt, at least is going to be parried 100+%. But boulders, after just kicking the rock, sealing the deal, and it's just a dangerous and a big hill to climb, especially if you're Nosy Nate.
I mean, Nosy Nate right now just on the back foot, but remember, it is a best of 5 set. It's not just about getting that early kill. It's not just about getting that early win. It's about breaking your opponent's momentum. So that one kill from Nosy Nate, honestly, very, very important here.
It's actually going for the boulders that time. Spin dash is going to hit him. Going to cancel onto the nair. Just drop kicks him right into the skull. Pom is not going to be able to sing after that one because they just got kicked in the throat.
Yeah, immediately going to be able to take game number 2 from Delta Parallax. Now the question is, where does Nosy Nate go for game number 3? As the training stage X not quite going to be working out as planned there. Delta Parallax just continuing on this onslaught with the Crag.
Moving in, what exactly are they going to be able to do? Are you anticipating a change of character? Because I am not. We are going to game number 3 and set point for Delta, tournament point for Nosy Nate.
Alright, and just like that, Delta Parallax going to get knocked off stage, going to take a decent bit of damage, but things are starting to look real good for Nosy Nate in comparison to how we saw in those earlier games.
Yeah, the juggles are being pretty good at the beginning of the game, but it doesn't really matter because you get drop kicked in the face one more time. And Pom is going to need a throat operation and a nose job after that one too.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it seems like there's just going to be more and more surgeries required for that Pom. And Delta Parallax seems to be practicing that medicine without a license, as this man is just on an onslaught looking to perform some medical malpractice onto this Pom.
Man, surgical precision as well with actually going for the side specials. Forward tilt is going to hit that time and it's sending him right downwards. Also breaking a little bit of the skull. Gonna need a new set of hair and a new pair of glasses for Pom. Not looking crispy. At least an anti-air for up tilt is gonna be a consolation prize, as the forward tilt coming out, sending Craig onto the outside. But now the juggle's coming underway, and there is absolutely no way in hell this Pom is gonna win this game. But hey, more unpredictable things have happened in this game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely have seen some crazy stuff like that. Nosy Nate needs to turn things up in game number 3 if he wants to get back into the swing of things here. But in the end, it has just been so much control for Delta Parallax. So much of that trade damage, so much of this edge guard, and so much of this disadvantage state for the Pom.
He's singing a little bit that time onto that up special. Rocks steadies, and just the drop kick done one more time, and just like that, it's over now. Singing career is over for Pom, and Craig advances on to the next round of losers bracket.
Yeah, and that's one of those moments where, you know, Nosy Nate gonna be dropping out of the tournament. Just go ahead and sit yourself down, get yourself a nice cup of tea, and congratulate yourself for the 7th place finish at Vortex Gallery Online 2024 for Rivals of Aether base cast. So in the end, going to be moving on to, I believe, the other parts of losers side. I think it is KD8 versus Inaba as our next possible match. And if I see the Ori versus the Maple come on through, all I'm saying is better be some high octane gameplay, because those characters have such high power at killing each other.
Absolutely. So we're going to see at least how this next couple of rounds of losers bracket are going to go down. But the winner's final side is looking very, very interesting as well for both players, SK and Zedderburn. Going to be super fun. And let's see what Alice is going to have us watch this time around.
Well, before we do, here is your friendlier reminder. If I could get the window capture here real quick. You did not see that. Gosh darn it. That's from an earlier bracket. Don't worry about it. Wink, wink. But what is more important, of course, is thanks to contributions to viewers like you. I think so. Yep, there we go. I'm a professional streamer after all. We do have a Maturino still. We currently have $4.25 so far, and this is only for the top 3. All right, but you, my good viewer, can still contribute to that by claiming some free codes. As you can see, we only have 33 codes remaining. So all you need to do is just go to type in !Maturino. And there you go. You get access to it. Feel free to log in and you'll be able to claim the code, which will add a free, that's right, free 25 cents into the overall prize pool. So please be sure to claim those codes as fast as you can. And if they run out, no worries. You can feel free to contribute with your own donations. And hey, if you leave a message, I'll be able to read it out on stream towards the end of it. So let's see if we can get those donations in. Let's see if we can get like $10 before top 4. You guys think that's possible? Let's see if we can make that possible. Let's put $10 in there. But yeah, back to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be super interesting to see whether, or, you know, like just how much y'all end up contributing, but make sure to pop into that Maturino. It's completely free to make things come through. But in the end, here we go. Losers quarters. I believe this is KD8 versus, is this really versus Delta Parallax already?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oh, yes, it is KD8 versus Delta Parallax because, you know, it is Astra versus Inaba on the other side. All right, but either way, KD8 with that Maple, not going to be bringing out that Force Burn whatsoever, and this is where things are going to get spicy.
Man, this could be either very good for Delta or very bad for Delta. It seems like it's one of those matches where Maple can actually dominate a Crag if they have their combo game on deck. But if they're not able to actually get that pressure on consistently, they might have a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about who gets that early lead, who gets those early punishes. But in the end, KD8 versus Delta Parallax needs to be absolutely perfect performance from both of these players.
Correct. But let's see what's going to happen here in this first game just to establish exactly how we are going. Both of them currently in losers bracket. Whoever wins this match advances. Whoever loses this match just stays home and contemplates their life for at least 30 minutes before jumping in and just continue to practice the game again. But we are seeing Crag versus Force Burn this time around for KD8.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this in Winterside with Astra versus Delta Parallax, where it was Astra who ended up taking things over the Crag in the end, but Delta Parallax coming in hot with a new vigor, just able to do so much damage to KD8's fours and able to just put himself in a very good position.
Ooh, drop kicks him on to next week, but not quite being able to do enough. It's just Friday this time around. Kicks him right into daylight savings. First stock by Crag.
Yeah, first stock taken by Delta Parallax. KD8 firing right back, though 78% completely unanswered. Not going to opt for the parry onto the Crag, but instead going to get parried themselves.
Going for a couple of jabs that time. Swings the first hit of the Obstrong to set up another combination in. Clones coming in, so far so good. And now the dropkick actually making him disappear. Boulder toss, sending him right outside. Down strong, fully charged. Gonna be able to take away that stock. Exactly the position where you want to be if you're KD8. 67% now, but a couple of uppers already taking them up to 82. Where are they going to go? The Boulder just predicts and just knows, hey, the Force Burn is right here. And already at 111% is going to hit him slowly but surely after the fair, trying to headfall it as fast as possible. Before tilt's coming in, drop kicks him right onto the outside. Boulder toss by Crag. And the forward tilt coming in. And now another boulder toss. It continues to predict him. It's like the Rock knows the Rock knows where Force Burn is going to go every single time.
Yeah, but right now, KD8 in a little bit more than just a little bit of trouble. 169%, essentially double the Crag's percentage, and a beautiful clear on the smoke from Delta Parallax, gonna be able to put KD8 in another tough position here. Now, Delta Parallax in trouble, needs to find a way how to get past all this smoke. The Upstrong not going to get thrown out by KD8 though, and all of a sudden the percent lead is building up over and over again. Back here going to be able to even out that stock count though.
Okay, just putting up the smoke one more time, and now we're seeing him drag himself onto a trying, at least, to try to get that winning position in. Up tilt's going to come out, 77% now. Another up tilt by Force Burn, trying to set him up that time. Actually rolls in onto the platform, Jules Veil, and trying to go in that time as well. Dragging them almost on to get hit on that up tilt, but not quite going to be enough. Downstroke barely missing that time. Forward tilts by Craig, and the pressure on the outside, and another drop kick right to the face is breaking the mask that KD8 has with Force Burn and gets that first game.
Yeah, able to take that first game. KD8 once again on the back foot with the fours pick here. Gonna have to see whether or not the fours continues to be the character of choice for KD8 moving on, as game number 2 is now upon us. Now the big question is, what exactly are we going to be seeing? The Aether? Okay, so Aether going to be picked up as the pick into Crag here. I do not agree. Aether as a character struggles so much in the mid-range against the Crag because of the down Bs, because of the rocks, because of so many of the overshoot moves that Crag has access to that just are so good at dealing with the Aether. But in the end, it is going to be Aether on a stage that many people like to believe is Aether's best stage, which I will hardcore argue is easily his worst.
Let's see what's going to happen this time around. Anti is actually moving in a couple of multi-hits. Down air, not quite going to be able to hit that mark that time. Double jump already used. Still hasn't touched the ground. Actually manages to do so. And the Aether looking pretty good right at the beginning of the match. That being said, however, they need to be careful not to overextend themselves. And now we're seeing just the blocks of ice coming in. The armor being played. But this is a problem, especially if you have a Crack on deck and they know how to combo. You're just going to continue to put on that damage. And we're seeing it right now. A couple of multi-hits in, trying to go for another spike. And actually sends them downwards with the up special. And just moving and spin to win is not going to be able, or it's not going to matter. As we're seeing KD8 actually taking this first stock.
Yeah, first stock going down, but second stock immediately fired back by Delta Parallax here. And here's something I gotta say, Chopper, right? Endless Abyss training stage, whichever variant you're on, is a statement stage. What it says is, my grounded neutral is better than yours. And right now, KD8 and Delta Parallax really just going toe-to-toe again and again, trying to figure out who ends out coming out on top. Goodness. I'm just suffering out here. But
nah, you're good.
Right now, it's just going to be a matter of hits over and over and over again between these two players, between these two characters. The parry from Delta Parallax, though, going to be able to get KD8 into a rough position.
Actually moving in that time, a couple of stocks in an advantage for KD8 that time. Oh, sweet. Merciful gods. Thank God we don't have that in Ravels 2 yet, because those command grabs of up airs onto nairs are nasty by Aether. And so far this counter pick has actually been working out wonders for KD8.
Right now, KD8 in a very strong lead, barely managing to dodge away from that up strong, and looks for the down air punish, but no, the down strong after the parry from Delta Parallax to even out that stock count does not opt to parry the icicles, instead just opt to try to jump past them. And all of a sudden the Crag gonna be dropping into the blast zone. KD8 with the Aether counter pick going to turn me into an immediate liar.
Man, tied up series that time around. And we're trying to see which one of these players advances onto the next round of loser side. Delta Parallax trying to move in and trying to see what they can do, especially in this matchup where both of them can have a little bit of difficulty KOing each other. The advantage that you currently had, especially when you were Crag, is no longer going to be there. But they do like treetops, so let's see what's going to happen now with a couple of forwarders actually going and hitting the mark. Unfortunately, Aether just SDs, and does so with quite a fashion. And so far, Delta looking poised for to win this third game if KD8 doesn't have anything to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, KDA, as you can see, just a few of these mechanical flubs here and there not going to be working out so well for them. But right now, Delta just taking anything that he can get, but not going to be able to get another pillar as he bounces directly off of the floor there. But now KD8 in control, needs to find a way how to turn this into more of a lead. Up air is a phenomenal way to do so.
So far, so good for them. Trying to land onto the platform that time. Looking for some more command grabs. Just to mix things up a little bit as Aetherless. Now, a couple of airs by Craig. Continues to take the damage away. And now just coming down the falling pillars. Moving so much distance. And the Obstrong going in that time. And we're seeing that ice armor knocking in. The forward tilts coming out for the combo game that Crag has at their disposal. And now actually hits him with the Endless Bomb. Down special. And the multi-hits onto them. And actually managed to get KO'd. And now we're seeing Crag maybe fumbling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, right now, KD8 with that freeze, able to not only take the stock, able to take the full-on momentum, and Delta Parallax in a lot of trouble here. Needs to find some way how to get back into the swing of things. And the down B and neutral, once again, not going to get punished from KD8, but down air on the up B recovery works out just fine.
Slowly but surely trying to get some more ground in, and KD8 showing off and showing out. Forward strong, not sealing the deal just yet. Just trying to move
able to
away.
get past that side B with that armored forward strong. This should be a kill. Down strong, not going to purple, but is going to do it.
Yeah, the Edalus pick being very good for this matchup overall, and KD8 just like that, one win away from stopping the momentum of Delta, who seemed to be on the cusp of actually getting a little further in bracket.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see exactly what happens moving on here, as KD8 with a 1-game lead, looking to take Delta Parallax out of the bracket, still sticking with that Edalus here, moving on to game number 4. And the question is, what exactly do you choose as your counter pick? I honestly thought that Treetop Lodge was a very good stage choice for Delta Parallax, but Delta Parallax doesn't seem to be ready to parry any of these side Bs in neutral. And if you're not ready or prepared to parry the icicles in neutral, you are not going to be ready for the return to Endless Abyss, it seems.
This version's FD trying to move into the Endless Abyss, trying to force that game 5 in a stage where honestly it feels like it should be one of Edalus's least favorite stages, but KD8 has been looking pretty comfortable throughout the course of it as soon as we see the polar bear actually coming into play. So it's not just him, it's the pick doing well.
I mean, the biggest thing about this stage, right, is that it busts Edalus's ground in neutral quite a bit, and that's, you know, one of Edalus's biggest things. It's all about that whiff punish. But the moment Edalus is off stage, it takes his already rough recovery and makes it so much worse, because it just gets so unbelievably difficult to see a way how to get back onto stage without any sort of platform play. But right now, down air, not going to lead into the up strong from Delta Parallax, and we're seeing the Crag look for a way how to get that first kill, as KDA's just been playing disadvantage over and over and over again.
And working out for him as well. Now Crag all of a sudden trying to move in, actually landing a little bit more, intercepting, or at least trying to intercept the recovery, managing to get hit by the down special of Edalus in the first place. And there's coming out and moving in that time. What is going to happen in these next couple of seconds?
Yeah, right now, the Nair's coming on through. KD8 doing a decent bit of damage in return there, but Delta Parallax still very much holding on to that lead. Jumps away from the freeze, make sure that there's no chance of that one, and no chance of coming back after the rock bonks the bear directly on the head.
Now we're seeing hitfalls coming into play one more time. A couple of up airs. Wanted a third one. Not quite going to get it that time. One up air that time. Two uppers One more. Nope. Down special instead being met. Just rolling in the deep slowly but surely. But that was a brilliant play, actually. Landing on top of their pillar to be able to parry the icicles that were actually coming down, and then using the up B to eliminate the pillar so Aether does not jump onto it and be able to recover on time. It was a brilliant play by Delta, forcing that game 5.
Yeah, perfect stuff with the pillar parry there from Delta Parallax, and KD8 now on the back foot. Game number 5 between these two titans of players there, and the question is the Aether pick going to stay here? KD8's been swapping around between quite a few different characters. The Aether is going to end up staying, and it is going to be another one of those relatively neutral stages between these two. So I said that the last stage was a matter of my ground and neutrals better than yours. This stage is a matter of I am the better player.
Let's see what's going to happen now as well, Anti. Slowly but surely actually moving in. Delta Parallax actually trying to find the rhythm in this Aether matchup, and doing so, getting that percentage advantage. Icicles dropping, however,
no
are going to make
jump.
them difficult. Oh my god, they need to be careful. At least Rock Pillar is right there to actually save their life. For now,
no
at
double
least.
jump, no air dodge, and no life left to be saved there, Chopper, as KD8 now going to be able to take that percent lead. The question is, how long is it going to stay? The ice armor can only stay for so long, still available, but not going to come into play much at all. I will say Delta Parallax hasn't really gotten any of these parries on the icicles, and it seems to be paying out dividends for KD8.
And moving in slowly but surely. This game number 5 is pretty hyped. They need to be careful not to get hit by those forward airs. Barely missing the mark on that command grab for the up air. And then there's coming in this halo. Left and right in the down special, sealing the deal on that stock. KD8 looking poised to take this 5-game series.
Yeah, able to just slip right by Delta Parallax. The first icicle parry we've seen in a hot minute coming in from the crag. We're not going to be seeing a second one come on through, though. KD8, no air dodge, no combo for Delta Parallax, though, and one opportunity for the Ice Bear turns into a decent chunk of early damage. The freeze could be huge.
What's going to happen now? There's just barely missing the up air that time, trying to move in, but 2 stocks already onto the Aether, managing to at least parry the down special as they were coming down. Brave and the bold for Crag, but is it going to be enough? However, Yasuya combinations coming in, trying to go for the spike that time, not quite going to hit it. And now the Ferris is not going to come down by Aether, barely missing the mark on the back air. And now down strong is going to be at the answer by Crag, actually moving on to the side, not quite going to be able to do it. Manages to go into the corner. Boulder going to be hit, not quite going to be able to do so. However, another down special, trying to go in by Aether and barely missing the mark on that downstrom themselves. The differential is only 24%. And actually just landing after hitting the boulder. Aether and KD8 advance to the next round of losers.
Yeah, and KD8, just like that, with the largest hold on that Upstrong on the planet, gonna be able to take it in Game 5 with the Aether counter pick into Crag, a pick that we're not used to seeing chosen between those two, but in the end, KD8 moving on in loser side. I do believe that brings us over to winners semis, but remember and do not forget that Matcherino contributions are still available for us here. Actually, no, we're still going for more of that losers quarters, but contributions still going strong. It's completely free. Make sure to do it. Do not skip out on this.
Absolutely contribute everything you can, but we are going to see Astra and Inaba. One force burn is advancing on to the next round, but we did see Aether that time. Astra making their claim for that top 4 spot. But let's see what's going to happen, especially when going versus that Ori matchup, which we have seen quite a bit throughout the course of Rivals history.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time and time again between these two characters. And honestly, it's one of Forsburn's worst matchups, right? So much of it, though, relies on the play around neutral, right? And I will say, from what we saw from Inaba in Winner's side, Inaba's neutral isn't necessarily the strongest amongst the Ori players I've seen. It's more about, once he actually gets that hit in, he can actually get, those combos going, get those kills started up and running. But the question is whether or not Inaba can play that crazy all-in with punish Ori that's needed to take down a Force Burn of Astra's caliber. But instead, Astra says, who cares about Force Burn? I'm just going to bring out the Crag here. So this, on the other hand, goes from a rough matchup for Force Burn to possibly in the running for one of the worst matchups in the game.
Again, it is definitely going to depend on how the Ori is going to be able to suffocate out of the offense, out of at least Crag, because what we're seeing right now is just domination by Crag right at the early stage. It's already up to 71%. You should be able to actually combo them to hell if you're Ori, but are you going to be able to do so consistently versus the boxing game of a Crag as experimented as Astra, as we're seeing right now?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Astra with the forward air going to be able to take stock number 1, though. And that one thing that I will say about this matchup, people like to overstate just how bad this matchup really is, because it's one of those matchups where, if the Ori plays neutral properly, Crag never gets a chance to play the game. If Crag does get a chance to play the game, though, if you take one hit, you are taking 80% or dying. And you can see that right now. Inaba already taking 70+% off of two neutral losses and 2 stocks taken in under a minute.
Man, looking very aggressive and paying a lot of dividends for this matchup in particular. And like I mentioned beforehand, this could be a very lopsided matchup if you definitely know how to play it. But again, if Ori is not able to actually close the quarters and continue to play in that close-up range and win the boxing game versus Crag, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, you definitely might find yourself in a rough position here, but this is also one of those things that we saw from Inaba in Winner's side where, they had an opportunity to start going for kills and they start throwing out the strongs, and sometimes it works, but into Crag, it's very, very difficult to get so much of a win off of that one. In the meantime, Astra right now already triple digits on the Crag, but triple digits on the Ori. Definitely going to be feeling very, very good.
Moving in with the dash, because I just sent him right onto the outside. That's clean 3 stock by the Crag.
Yeah, clean 3 stock from Astra. And the question is, game number 2, where are we going to go for Inaba? As a relatively even stage in Forest Floor, not quite working out for them in the beginning, but game number 2, are we going to continue to see the Crag? Are we going to continue to see this this onslaught from Astra?
Game number 2 already moving into Merchant Port, and we did see Inaba actually playing in this matchup again. And you did mention beforehand, that Ori doesn't really have any type of bad stages. It's just a matter of comfortability, and hopefully this is exactly this type of stage that Inaba is looking for to try to tie things up.
Yeah, definitely seems to be the plan here, as Inaba just in a lot of trouble, in a lot of hurt here. 94% and counting, triple digits now on the Ori, but at the very least, making better pace than we saw in game number 1.
That being said, however, 140%, at least getting the parry onto that forward tilt by Crag, using a couple of pillars that time, and up air, sending him upwards. Dash attack plus rock hits equals 65%, and boulder toss, not hitting the mark that time, but just using it to bait him out. And just like that, unfortunate SD, or at least a little bit of a reset, I would say, as well, because 174%. It's definitely not something that you want to lose, but at least, you were on the verge of death already.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the craziest SD on the planet there. At the very least, Inaba, still very much in the thick of things, 78% and counting on the Crag. We're seeing the Ori play a lot more patiently, not just run straight on in, not just look for some kind of opportunity. Misses out on the parry, though, but one parry from Astra, not gonna lead into much more.
That's just moving in slowly but surely, 124%. And Upstrong hitting him that time. Boulder toss coming out one more time. pillars as well, just landing on top of the stage, and just like that dash attack onto forward tilt, sending Ori onto the side. And we're moving into another fair that time, continuing on. But the projectiles from Ori as well, trying to get that percentage in. Not really being able to hit those kill confirms, or at least try to get those BMBs versus Crag are pretty much putting them in a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, but right here, Forward Strong from Inaba gonna be able to take that, and Astra now a little bit on that back foot, holding the rock, in a lot of trouble here, and there's that punish game that we were talking about that Inaba was able to get in the first set we saw them in, but in the end, forward air is the great equalizer.
Equalizer indeed, Anti, and that is exactly what Ori was looking for, and Inaba once again in Merchant Port seems to be like it's their stage. Trying to get some more opportunities to get the combos going. It actually gives an opportunity for Crag to actually get a lot of stage in. At least getting punished for a couple of percents that time. A couple of multi-hits after the fair in the back air. Just barely missing on that parry for the down special that Crag has been throwing out as of late. But now the projectiles are starting to hit in the mark a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, as it's 72% on both of these players. Super close game number 2 here. The Forward Strong not going to connect from Inaba, not going to connect from Astra, and both of these players, we're seeing the Strongs just fly back and forth. A single one of them connects. It is a sure kill between the two of them.
Absolutely, actually going in. The Forward Strong multi-hit almost sealing the deal that time, and the differential percentage has actually been null and void. They need to be careful not to get hit by that up air that time, and continue to actually Photon Pursuit Boulder Toss that time. Jumps, not quite going to be able to hit the mark, and that forward air is sealing the deal in about almost in close, but no cigar.
Yeah, very close game number 2 there, as Astra going to be able to take that one as well. And Inaba now in trouble, back against the wall. Game number 3, where do you go? We already know that the Merchant Port comfort pick did not quite work out, but as far as I'm concerned, right, if at first you don't succeed, try again. If you believe in a counter pick enough to pick it in bracket, you always salty run back. And if you lose on the salty run back, you never should have been on that stage in the first place. In the end though, Inaba going to stick with their guns, going to go back to the Merchant Port, taking all that advice almost like they were listening in.
Yep, back to Merchant Port. They played well there, but you have to keep in mind as well, Anti, that Crag actually has lead in one of those stocks, or at least they did not have the resources and lost that stock extremely early, just as Ori did this time around. You need to be careful because the boulder was in their hands, not quite going to pursue anything else about it. Boulders hit one more time, but the down air is going to break it in the air. Going to be able to actually defend against it.
Yeah, and right now Astra's starting to look to cash in on these later, habits coming in from Inaba, like looking for that jab forward strong, but not going to be able to catch that tech roll. But you can see once again Astra just able to take that early lead, and Inaba needs to find some way how to break this momentum, needs to find some way how to change up the pacing of this set.
Just moving in that time, multi-hit onto the down strong, but Inaba one stock away from being eliminated of the tournament. This is the difficulty that I mentioned beforehand the Crag matchup can actually give you. If you know it, it's pretty easy. If you don't know it, and if you're not able to put the aggression on, you're going to get hit by that forward strong, and Astra moving on to the next round.
Astra going to be able to take it with a 3-0, a 3 stock in game number 1, a 3 stock in game number 3. Inaba, as we saw in game number 2, very much put up a fight there. So in the end, that is going to do it for losers quarters. I do believe that we'd be hopping over to winners finals immediately afterwards. Either that or we hop over to loser semis, one of the two here. But either way, we've got so much more interesting and volatile rivals to play.
And moving on to the next round, we have our top 4. CEO of RNG and Majin Miku, KD8 and Astra. Let's try to get this ball rolling onto this top 4. We can see a lot more Rivals 1 being played.
Yeah, so much more of that Rivals being played here. Now, CEO of RNG versus Majin Miku, the Shovel Knight versus the Zetter could be crazy here. But in the meantime, Chopper in a bit of despair, as you can see, from, the craziness of that last game. It looked so close for Inaba in game number 2, and all of a sudden, game number 3 did not quite work out for the better. But in the end, congrats to Inaba making it all the way to top 6.
Absolutely. With top 4 just about to be underway, I am hoping we can get some more action going. So Alex, hit me up with the next matchup, and absolutely it is going to be winners final. CEO of RNG versus Majin Miku.
Yeah, CEO of RNG versus Majin Miku, and it is just so crazy to see the Shovel Knight and Zetterburn duking things out there. 9th seed on CEO of RNG versus 10th seed, and both of these duking out in winners finals.
Working out Tower of Heaven being the stage of choice, triplats, and a lot of boxing between these two. Forward tilts actually coming in, forward airs, and just hitting themselves with jabs and everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, and right now, CEO of RNG in the lead as far as percent's concerned, but right now you also have to be so careful as Majin Miku, because the moment Shovel Knight gets an opening, you could find yourself in the blast zone. And interesting decision here, not opting for the Momentum Mail, but the Dynamo Mail not really going to change much in terms of the weight or the survivability to that combo.
I'm trying to get some more combinations, maybe of some of the strong attacks going in the air. So just fight what Edelus wants to bring to the table. Remains to be seen if it's going to be effective or not, like you really mentioned, Anti.
Yeah, right now you can see Majin Miku in a lot of trouble. CEO of RNG in a lot of trouble as Majin Miku able to once again get the trades on trades here. But Zetter has so much kill power. The Upstrong not going to come through, but you can see that Majin Miku's just looking for it.
Holding forward, like you've mentioned beforehand, Anti, moving in, but now dash attack onto the Upstrong is going to be enough. And now, very interesting full setup for the late game. He's trying to get those horns in, trying to send them maybe on a downward direction, trying to occupy some of the space that they have available. That being said, forward strong is going to be enough to actually get that KO, and we have a pretty much a tied game in only 2 minutes played between the two, and we see the combinations coming in one more time. Jesus Christ, what damage. 79% already onto Shovel Knight. Zetterburn is trying to be on fire and make SK go on fire. Gatling sealing the deal for the first game.
Yeah, and CEO of RNG dropping down in game number 1. Majin Miku with the patented hold forward and make sure that they come with you to that blast zone, and is just looking so good for the Zetter. Just doing so much work here as we saw that crazy upset in the winner's side. But now, CEO of RNG, we saw a different playstyle come on through. We saw the Dynamo Mail picked up, the Horn picked up, and now, this time around, the question is this a Zetter specific thing, or is CEO of RNG going to return to what he knows works best?
Actually trying to recover that time, managing to do so. That was good techs all around, and a brilliant recovery option, especially for SK, because that was a dangerous situation after the double down air, especially at early percent. That being said, now 95% on to Majin Miku. CEO looking for maybe a shovel to the face, and there we go. Upstrong getting that stock away, barely getting any strike mark.
Yeah, and CEO deciding just go for the momentum mail here. Had enough for the dynamo mail, but realized, hey, well, this doesn't quite work out for me the way how I want it to. Momentum mail coming in clutch, just barely giving enough weight to survive that up strong. And all of a sudden, this Shovel Knight is turning into that Shovel Knight that we saw so feared in Winter's Side.
It was just one item away from actually going for that full build. It's not going to matter. However, Majin Miku sealing the deal after setting him on fire, trying to get that down strong. But this time the horn is going to be the option. They're trying to get him away. Maybe that's why they're picking it, Anti, get off me option for the Zetterburn, who continues to put up that pressure, and that's another up strong being used to great effect by CEO.
Yeah, I mean, the horn's so good into Zetter, just very, very strong at keeping the Lion out when it comes to the edge guarding, when it comes to the neutral, when it comes to the advantage. But right now, the question is CEO of RNG going to be able to take all this momentum straight into the win and game number 2 at the very least under his belt?
Tied series so far. Up strong, up strong, up strong. All 3 KOs by him have been done with up strongs. Doing so greatly as well. So they need to be careful, especially when they have to move on to maybe a stage that doesn't have the platform game that they want to establish, especially versus Zetterburn.
Yeah, I mean, either way, game number 1 was on Tower of Heaven. Game number 2 also on Tower of Heaven. So now game number 3 going for a very, very close blast zone stage. Honestly, one of the most volatile stages in the game. I'd argue that when it comes to these 2 characters in particular, honestly, the most volatile stage in the game.
So moving in, just trying to get that fish, manages to absorb it greatly. Differential is just barely on the type percent. Now forward strong, just like that. The auto mail, just trying to get it, and the up air, knowing that they were gonna go into a situation where they were gonna get punished. And that's like that. Majin Miku losing their first stock.
Yeah, Majin Miku in a bit of trouble here, just trying to find a way how to get back into the swing of things, but playing against a momentum male Shovel Knight is just a completely different game, right? It seems like he doesn't have the same combos routed out against the momentum male, doesn't have the same wherewithal to deal with all of that extra weight, and all of a sudden the horn could be huge. Not going to turn into a kill though, as CEO of RNG just able to control so much more of this game.
So you're looking for the sweet spot, but actually manages to get the sour spot down strong. Gonna tie things up, at least from a stock perspective, but now actually going for the jab, but just sends him right on the outside. Horn to the face, and 1 stock away from actually taking the lead in the set.
Yeah, the longest range follow-up with that F-Strong into Horn there. And you can see CEO of RNG feeling himself in game number 3. This might be Majin Miku's counter pick, but it is all CEO of RNG.
Looking tremendous after that horn being placed right then and there. Zetterburn does not have any type of options to actually cover them. Horn used 1 more time, 144. What else are they going to go for? Gatling for 96. Not quite going to be able to hit that upper. Just sends them right on the side. Just like that, RNG 1 win away from Grands.
1 win away from Grands, but only God knows how many horn toots away from Grands, because it has just been horn after horn after horn for CEO of RNG, doing so well into Majin Miku's Zetterburn. Now game number 4, the question is Majin Miku on the back foot, potential winner's side game here. So what do you choose? Do you opt for the run back onto Spirit Tree, or do you opt for a completely different stage?
It's really going to depend on the type of game that Zetterburn really wants to establish there. Going to be pretty difficult for them to actually try to pursue whatever it is. Is Zetterburn going to look for maybe a larger stage for survivability? Or is they going to be able to actually do any type of combo game damage so CEO can actually be forced into a situation where they have to play game number 5? It remains to be seen.
I mean, it all depends on this final game here and now. That last game, where are we going to go in terms of the stages is the big question.
Currently awaiting what is going to happen on this game number 4. Just to move on, just what we only have left is the top 4 of Vortex Gallery. We'll see what's going to happen next.
Only time will tell. I mean, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, right? CEO of RNG. Oh, never mind. We're already getting right into the thick of things. It is going to be Treetop, a completely different stage, right? Still another very vertical stage, but right now, these two players just going toe-to-toe. Already 2 fish towards that momentum mail.
Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, a couple of up tilts that time onto the back air. Moving into up tilt. Forward strong, not going to hit that time. Just waiting to actually get a parry done. Moving in that time. Up air, hitting with every single multi-hit. Just hitting with a couple of airs that time. So Treetop is actually a pretty interesting pick. It's going to be instead of an opportunity to actually keep it close and personal versus SK. To be able to actually get enough money to even get the horn in the first place is going to be the main goal. And survivability is next, but just that the forward strong coming in, the mail is going to go down as well. They need to be careful not to get hit one more time, and dash attack is going to do it with an up strong, keeping it pretty much tied with 1,916 jewels available to them. And look at the combos.
Yeah, that's enough to buy the horn. That's enough to buy essentially the entire shop here as far as CEO of RNG is concerned. But right now, Majin Miku not concerned with capitalism, simply concerned with murder. But right now, CEO of RNG taking quite a bit of damage. There's that horn coming in clutch that we saw the last time around. And against a player that likes to hold forward as much as Majin Miku, this horn is so instrumental.
Going slowly but surely onto it. 1 win away and 1 stock away from Grand Finals. The CEO looking poised and reading the roll in onto the downstrong. Just sends them downwards.
Oh!
Twice. Maybe hit with the horn. I don't know if it was once or twice. Nevertheless, it is still going to count as a spike. And now CEO of RNG in Grand Finals.
Yes, CEO of RNG Winners Side Grand Finals, a place where I'm not sure if he anticipated finding himself here, but very, very good performance there. In the meantime, Majin Miku going to be dropping down in losers, where we will also be moving over to losers side here, looking at what is available for us. I'm sure right now it is going to be Astra versus KD8, a tale between 2 good friends here, and I would be surprised if we saw anything more than anything less than a banger of a set.
And moving in that time, we already know CEO of RNG is in Grants. KD8 and Astra, possibly double first sprint. We have seen them, the Aether come out. We have seen a Crag. A lot of opportunities for different picks in this semifinals.
I mean, we've got a lot of different opportunities for potential picks here, but the biggest question, right, is what exactly is it that these 2 players are going to bring out against each other in terms of picks and in terms of play? I honestly would not be the most surprised if these 2 attempted to bring out some workshop characters, as these 2, like I said, they play against each other time and time and time again. If they do play workshop characters, tough luck. We literally do not have the ability to use those replays. So don't do that, y'all. But yeah, it's almost certainly just going to be base cast versus base cast. But like I said, these 2 have played against each other so many times, right? Whether it be as teammates, as opponents, as people on opposing sides of the same coin. And KD8 versus Astra, the matchup of the ages in losers semis.
And we're seeing the bear come out one more time. KD8's Aether versus Astra's Crag. for this first game. Gonna be super interesting. We did see Astra, well, at least KD8 take, or at least try to fight against the Crack previously to great success, I might add. So what are they going to do versus this Crack, who seems to be just a level above the one that we saw before?
Yeah, we're just gonna have to figure out whether or not these two, one, play this matchup to begin with, but two, what it is that they do end up opting to take. So it is going to be the Forsburn for KD8 here, which I honestly thought that KD8 would be the one swapping off to a different character if there was going to be one of these two players not playing, the Forsburn. But instead, it is going to be that Force Ditto. I hope to God we're going to be getting some crazy all-in back and forth between these two, and we're starting things off with some baby dash jabs already.
Already the first burn mirror match this time around, and the multi-hits are going to come in as well. Now, Anti, can you clarify for me? I believe both of them can use the smoke from the other, correct?
Yes, both of them can use the smoke from one another. They can inhale the smoke from one another as well. And most importantly, on recovery, if you put down a smoke directly in front of you, it actually turns out that, the smoke, as far as all things are concerned, right? Oh my goodness, sorry. If you put down a smoke in front of you as your opponent is recovering, your opponent will snap into the smoke and not have a hitbox when recovering overall here. But in the end, it is going to be Astra taking the early lead here, which honestly, I kind of anticipated between these two. Astra usually ends up getting the lead as far as Forsburn is concerned. I expected to see a Maple coming in from KD8.
Now, establishing somewhat of a lead. 8% becomes 20 extra credit by Astra. He needs to continue to at least rack up some more damage before losing this stock. Down strong, coming away from KD8. 20% of extra credit. Not quite enough if you want to be somebody who wants a solid lead for the second stock. Now moving in, they need to be careful how they recover. They do get punished for it with the down air, but don't get much else if you're KD8. Down strong coming in, sending them to the right side too. Just making the smokes disappear, as well as the clones everywhere. A little bit difficult to follow, but now not impossible.
Yeah, far from impossible right now here, but right now it seems almost impossible for KD8 to find a way back on stage. But there's that smoke clip exactly that I was telling you about, Chopper, right? That snapped directly into the smoke there, and Astra now in a very, very good position. Full stock lead. KD8 in a lot of trouble.
Moving in slowly but surely. Now just trying to get some more combos into play. Up airs coming in and juggling him. Multi-hits onto the nairs, already taking them up to 49%. And now KD8 responding back greatly with some more percents on their own, and a down strong for good measure. 113%. Going to be pivotal for them to actually take this KO as soon as possible, just to avoid getting some more extra credit in.
And right now we can see, just both of them with full smoke charges available. The dash attack getting parried, and some extra sauce on that down strong. You see both of these players just having a good time, chatting it out with those, teabags, with those taunts. But you can see that they're just looking for a victory.
Slowly but surely, just final rounds. KD8's in danger of losing this first game. They need to be careful. That's a good parry. And trying to get some more multi-hits in. There are so many players on the stage right now, and the smoke is getting absorbed by both of them. But the back air is sealing the deal for Astra, who takes away game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, either way, Astra going to be able to take game number 1 in that Forsburn dinner. The question is KD8 going to be swapping? We've seen a lot of character swaps coming in from KD8 here. Game number 2 will tell us exactly the story. And it is going to be that Aether. So that Aether that we saw getting warmed up in that last set is going to come on out here. You know, Forsburn's debatably worst matchup by a long shot here. So now Forsburn Aether could go absolutely crazy.
It was going to happen in the second game, and actually going into the forest that time. Not that much space for them to work with, but Astra trying to take advantage of it and just keeping the pressure onto Aether.
Yeah, and KD8 in that last set, the big thing is that they did not get punished a single time for these uppies directly onto stage. Oh, like, sorry, not uppies, but these icicles on stage here. But Astra, on the other hand, they're basically parrying every single one of them. And you can see this paying out so well for Astra. KD8 no longer going for these rough icicles. And a single moment, a single opportunity, the moment that I mention it, KD8 immediately gets punished once again.
And they know this matchup to a T. Aether is going to have a lot of trouble, especially if they continue to get parried on those icicles. The advantage that you're going to have against them is to try to get those as much as possible, but you have to be grounded. So if you keep your opponent on the air, it is going to be a lot easier for you to maneuver around the matchup. But Aether continues to get comboed left and right.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears is just looking like hyena food at this point. Forsburn looking for a kill. Gonna be able to get that. No, my lord. Okay, well, you know, that's the Rivals 1 classic. Go for the down strong, instead drop straight through the platform and dare. But in the end, KD8 and Astra just understanding, well, you know what? It happens. It's not the end of the world here. But KD8 taking that one and utilizing the momentum change to full effect.
What the hell? Okay. Oh my lord, what the... Oh my god, okay, that was a lot of combinations by both Forsburn and the clone, but Aether just doesn't give a fuck and just goes for the command grab up air and just seals it.
Yeah, in the end, Spirit Tree being such a close blast zone stage forces the DI in, forces the guaranteed up air off of those icicles, but right now Astra in so much trouble for what looked like a complete wash for Astra at the beginning of this game.
Oop, putting on the ice armor once again, but does take it off due to the fact that they use a strong attack to do so. Icicles coming out one more time, and the up airs being so annoying for them as well. They need to be careful. The multi-hits actually coming in. Down air to 81 now Aether is. And now just moving around as much as possible, trying to get the icicles in for the maneuverability. Down air coming in one more time. What's going to be the option for them? Dash attack, sending them to the corner. Down special coming out. And the differential is advantage Forsburn, but is it going to be enough to KO? Oh, it just reads the down special and goes for the up strong. Hits him with the second hit as well. Forsburn on the board, 1 win away from advancing to losers finals.
Yeah, and KD8's Aether counter pick not quite working out as hoped for, as Astra now in control here. I would be hard pressed to see some sort of counter pick in the end. It's the NA+CA counter pick for KD8. Now, this is something that we have not seen from KD8 thus far, and I have not seen from KD8 before, so I am super excited to see how this one does turn out. Might not be cake and penguin, but it is still a banger of a set so far.
Let's see what's going to happen now in this pickup, and home court advantage for NA+CA as well. Trying to get the electricity going in the clouds and all that jazz. The Forsburn not letting up Astra, putting themselves in a situation where they can get this W as soon as possible. Who's meeting them in? They have to wait still for a meeting with the Zetterburn in losers finals, so they need to be ready for what's coming up next.
Yeah, actually, it would be a meeting with the Shovel Knight because it was Majin
Oh,
Miku
yeah,
who ended up taking it in winner's side. We got the wrong replays. It'd be that way sometimes. But right now, it's just a matter of figuring out who ends up fighting once again against CEO of RNG here, as Astra right now able to get stock number 1, able to start up some sort of extra credit with that back air to begin.
Okay, now Astra looking crispy with the Force Burn, and KD8 showing a lot of mastery from different characters, which is fantastic. But you have to take into consideration that we have not seen this APSA in this bracket. How much time and how much prep are you going to be able to have with an APSA who requires quite a bit of tech to actually move around effectively and make sure that the muscle memory is still there for the effectiveness of the character?
Yeah, but right now looks for the back air, not quite going to be able to land it. Astra might be in a little bit of trouble off of that parry, and KD8 going to be able to even out that stock count. We're still seeing the taunts going through. Still good buddies going at it.
Moving in slowly but surely, that time 92%. Multi-hits on the Nair, going to hit the mark. Dash attack avoided, as well as the electricity, but the back air sealing the deal. One stock away from a clean 3-0. Phase themselves onto the next round in losers finals. And the hits after jab 1 and 2 are going to hit them for at least 19%.
Yeah, right now Astra currently in a very strong lead, able to get the percent lead, able to get the full-on kill. Beautiful flat boost for that final down air to take KD8 right off the side. Home court advantage be darned. It's gonna go 4s all the way, 3-0, propelling Astra straight into that losers final set, where he takes on CEO of RNG once more.
Gonna be super interesting for that run back. 100% SK and Force Burn being probably played. If Force Burn isn't working out, we did see the crack beforehand. It's going to be super interesting either way.
Yeah, I mean, super interesting between these two. I want to see a banger and a half. But moving onwards, just quick reminder, get those Matcherino contributions underway. It's completely free. It's super easy to make happen. And, you know, the prize pool just slowly growing bit by bit.
Contributing already $5. We started off the stream at $2.75. Thank you so much for everybody for contributing. We are seeing that the coupons have been taking effect slowly but surely. But we can do a little better each time. So you can go ahead and just spread the word out and let everybody know that you have this code available, that you can just contribute 25 cents and we continue to get the ball rolling for this prize pool.
But we're going to have to see just what things turn into as losers finals begins. Astra versus CEO of RNG. Are we still going to see the Force Burn?
Effectively, it looks like it is going to be the case. Astra is CEO of RNG and loses finals. Whoever wins this gets Miku's Zetaburn as a prize. Whoever loses gets third place in Vortex Gallery.
All right, top 3 of Vortex Gallery Online 2024. Base cast starting things up right now. The question is, what stage are they going to be starting things off on? Tower of Heaven would be a phenomenal stage to begin with for Astra, so I believe that CEO of RNG is not going to let that one through here. But right now, it is going to be Forest Floor, a very neutral stage between these two players.
Neutral indeed, and we're seeing the first bloods being stricken on the side of CEO. First Burn being the character for Astra this time around. Once again, we did see the crack being played earlier. Could be something to look out for sure in this.
Yeah, definitely could Yeah, definitely could be an opportunity here. But now, CEO of RNG has the momentum mail available. Is going to be looking to slip back onto stage with that up B. But all of the smoke cleared away. Astra in a decent bit of trouble, but still able to continue to keep the Shovel Knight off stage. Now, the moment that CEO of RNG has an opportunity, though, it turns into a full kill. A little bit of extra sauce on that F-Strong, but it works out in the end.
And doing a tremendous job with that forward strong as well. This is going to be a difficulty for First Burn, especially in maybe this matchup, unless they can get that backer to hit that one time. Managing to at least even up things more or less. Fully stacked build for Shovel Knight. Actually going to get those close gloves on deck.
Yeah,
plus
full
the armor
build already here for the Shovel Knight. Just able with those ghost gloves to just control so much more of that neutral, control so much more of that advantage. And even with the rock coming on out, Astra now in a ton of pain.
At 8% already, 43. Trying to invade the personal space of what Astra wants to do. Forward strong. Going for a hard read. Not working out for them. Ghost gloves being used one more time. But not quite hitting the mark, and Astra is prepared for them. So actually being used for a lot of parries that time situation. Putting themselves in an uncomfortable spot after the multi-hits of the Nair. 123. Oh, forward strong not hitting that time. Maybe using the Ghost gloves a little one too many times.
Yeah, and CEO of RNG, you can see right here, still able to rack up more and more damage, still able to rack up more and more leads. Another stock lead coming in from that Shovel Knight. Astra, though, cashing in on that same habit we saw in the first set. These two duked it out.
As you said before, Anti, they duked it out once. One stock apiece for each. Astra is definitely looking a lot more comfortable in this losers finals than what we saw on winner's side for sure. That does not mean that the victory is always guaranteed, especially with somebody who has defeated him beforehand.
Yeah, you can see Astra right now just looking for a way how to get that first hit in. But with these Ghost Gloves, with this rock available, CEO of RNG able to just constantly make things tough for Astra. And another one of those roll reads coming in clutch for these players.
Man, moving in that time. Oh, forward strong again, and just a shovel on the air. Down air sealing the deal once again. SK with the first game.
Yeah, and CEO of RNG able to steal that one out in exactly the same fashion with the same down air off the left side of that blast zone. So game number one going over to CEO of RNG. Is that game number one for real? Because I'm almost certain that was the same game that we saw in winner's side.
We've seen that multiple times, time and time again. It's either a down air or the sweet spot onto the up B to be able to recover. And CEO looking poised for that grands, but Astra definitely has a case to at least not make that happen and actually him get to that grands.
I mean, in the end, CEO of RNG going to be able to pull ahead with this early lead here. Should mean rough waters ahead for Astra. Oh. Are we moving things
Yes,
around?
we are.
Okay.
Tower Heaven, game number 2. Tower Heaven. And
game number 1.
Game number what?
I hate this game.
So that last
what?
game was, as I mentioned, literally the same game that we saw in winner's side, because it ended exactly the same way. So instead, this is going to be game number 1 over here for losers finals. But this is, just that quick recap, right? Exactly what we saw earlier on. So this is going to be the big change between these two. It is still going to be the Forsburn versus the Shovel Knight, but it is also very much still going to be CEO of RNG taking the lead.
Yep, one stock already available using the down air to spike them. The anchor hitting them up for at least 10%, and the parries are currently on deck and on point. Down air is actually trying to go in one more time, and it just continues the pressure in the air. Dash attack, up tilt. And now down there try to land on the stage. Already 80% and not even Mail or Ghost Gloves either purchased so far.
Yeah, nothing purchased by CEO of RNG here. This is all just hard work and dedication, but in the end, the knife in the back gonna be able to even things out for Astra. But right now, still no access to the relic, still no access to the extra neutral strength for the Shovel Knight, and Astra just doing a great job at keeping CEO of RNG busy to make sure it's not a possibility to go for any of those relics.
Moving a little faster that time around, trying to go away. Now, actually going in with a forward tilt, and now the Mail's getting picked, and now, oh, the horn, instead of actually going for Ghost Gloves. An interesting change, but I like it as well, because, again, using the Ghost Gloves has been a situation where, oh, my Lord Jesus, that was really good, and that's game as well. CEO with the first game that I was just mentioning. The horn, in this case, I really liked because Ghost Gloves was getting parried to hell. But this time around, there's no way you could do anything with the horn off the stage.
Yeah, and as we saw, that horn paid out dividends in that game as the same way that we saw in the earlier winner side set against Majin Miku. So CEO of RNG now with a real lead up against Astra, sorry. And game number 2 going over to Treetop Lodge.
Game number 2, as we mentioned, actually moving in that time. The combinations are going to come on deck by First Burn, who's trying to speed up the game again, making sure that CEO does not have any time to breathe, and the slightest that back air sealing the deal for that first stock. A good change of pace by Astra.
Yeah, I mean, right now you can see CEO of RNG in a lot of trouble. Astra just getting that download in from game number 1, just able to be so much more in control here, doing so much work, doing so much damage, and getting so much extra credit.
You said so yourself. Now up tilt's coming in. Back airs. Oh, they need to be careful. Just actually predicting and move away. Slowly but surely trying to go in. Now Force Burn forced to move away. Back air. Oh, barely missing exactly with the fishing pole too. And now down strong. Not quite being able to be enough. The Mail actually coming in to play MVP that time. And an up strong cleaning it away. 129% already onto SK. It's great extra credit by Force Burn. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of capitalizing, CEO of RNG capitalizing so much on this one neutral win here, and the rock does come on through, but all of a sudden, this is a very, very rich Shovel Knight. Does not matter that you're directly on the stage after that stock take, because still had more than enough gold to pick up that horn.
Oh, I was just sealing the deal on that stock as well. All of the advantages that were left have completely dissipated. 21% of an advantage is no more as Astra continues to actually try to put that pressure on the SK. Now actually trying to go for the nearest that time go.
Yeah, in the end, it is still CEO of RNG and Astra duking it out, going toe-to-toe, just trading blow for blow, trading horn hit for neutral opportunity. But right now, all of these tech rolls just getting chased out by Astra, just doing so much more damage. Down strong, going to catch another one of those tech rolls, and game number 2 under Astra's belt.
Pretty interesting now coming into game number 3. Force Burn and SK trying to do the best that they can. And we're back at Tower Heaven. And Astra not moving. And neither is CEO. Okay, just waiting for each other.
Yeah,
and
I
now
mean,
okay, go. Okay.
I'm guessing that they had like a little discussion. It's like, hey, well, I mean, this is DSR, and they say, well, no, it doesn't matter because DSR only really counts if your opponent cares to call you out on it. So right now, Astra says, all right, you know what? Who cares? We're just gonna go straight on in and take this one. Game number 3, starting things off very spicy.
Now back air's sealing the deal for that stock, missing the parry that time. So this means Astra is actually mixing up the offense a little more, not being actually predictable and moving quite well, especially with the force burn. Trying to get as much smoke as possible, making them disappear, actually going onto the corner that time. Nair not going to hit by SK, but reads the roll in and seals the deal on that stock as well. CEO in danger of losing this third game.
Yeah, very, very much in danger. 3 stocks to 1 right now. CEO, at this point, I think you just cut your losses. You say, all right, you know what? I am just going to look to break my opponent's momentum and then move on to the next game here because it's looking mad rough here. But we've seen Astra in these positions before, not always able to seal it out. CEO of RNG right now looking to fight to the very end here. Not going to be able to land that up B, but is going to be able to get the control once again. Down strong trade working out in SK's favor.
Now what is going to be the factor for Astra to move in? Now down strong hitting him with 92% already. Using the fishing pole more so as a delay. Try to go down as fast as possible. They need to be careful. Moving in that time with the forward tilt, and now up B's galore. What is going to happen now? The anchor, and now barely missing the mark on that forward strong to reel him in. But again, Astra pretty much doesn't have anything to lose because 145% with 2 stocks apiece. He's got to wait for SK to make mistakes.
Yeah, you have to wait for some kind of mistake here, but right now, Astra not going to be able to find it just yet. Still has another stock to play with, though. CEO RNG still looking for that opportunity, but the Forward Strong going to close that door shut. Game number 3 under Astra's belt. CEO of RNG on the verge of dropping out of the tournament.
Man, tremendous adaptations done by Astra, keeping the pressure up and mixing up whenever they're going to go in. A lot of success rates for CEO in particular. We're getting those parries for extra damage. And it's not been paying dividends in that, particularly in this game 3. But again, the mix-ups on the offense for Astra have been working out tremendously for him.
Yeah, working out absolutely tremendously. And right now, CEO of RNG needs to make some big change, needs to make some big opportunity window happen. And all of a sudden, CEO says, all right, you know what? What I needed to do in that last game was take more risk. So what if I just run straight off stage with a crazy dare to start things off in game 4?
Jules Bale, the name of the game, 64% onto SK. Now a lot more aggressive CEO this time around. So moving in
right now. CEO in control, in the lead here. Not going to be able to get too much of a punish onto that recovery, but at the very least, still retaining stage control.
Oh, sweet spot on that up special. Enough to actually make sure he is ready to go. 77% that time around, now 86. Unfortunately, going to have a little bit of a difficulty trying to get that KO in, especially if they get that mail in for that extra armor. Oh, down there.
And CEO looking all the way to the bottom. Not going to be able to find Astra there, though, as Astra looking to take CEO off the side. Combust going to be able to oblige, but this is a guaranteed momentum mail here, as CEO of RNG already has enough to pick up that beloved horn.
Man, it's been working well. It was working well versus the Zetterburn. It was working well here as well. Doing a lot of work. Now 98%, all the way up to 103. Looking poised for that game 5. Not if Astra has something to say about it, though.
Yeah, right now, still looking for that opportunity, still not going to be able to get that stock, as both Astra and CEO of RNG are still duking it out up strong, out of disadvantage, going to be doing just fine, though the Warhorn is picked up. Late game Shovel Knight inbound, and there is that big radial hitbox, going to be able to just beat out so many of these usually well-spaced neutral options, but now that you have another burst option to worry about, it's just so rough for Astra.
And they're looking really crispy as well with it. Forward strong, however, sending them right. Not quite going to be enough, but the down strong is, and 59% of extra credit. Not exactly what you want of your SK. Horn coming out one more time for extra damage. 82% forward strong. Trying to read the roll in. They have done it time and time again, but this time around, not going to be able to do so. 99% on there, managing to recover safely. Back air hitting SK. What's going to be the option for the first bird? Read on the roll, forward strong. More like a guaranteed rather than a read this time around. Back air trying to seal the deal that time. Jab is not quite going to connect. Up strong, hitting with a sour spot and just moving away slowly but surely. The anchor trying to recover. Now dash attack. Oh! Directional air dodge inwards onto the up strong. We have a game 5.
Yeah, and that was almost certainly an air dodge to try to avoid some sort of horn follow-up or try to get some sort of tech the moment that Forsberg was actionable, but instead it's going to just take Astra directly into the waiting arms of that up strong. CEO of RNG going to be able to take that one and bring us to a game 5 once again between these two.
Oh, let's see what's going to go down. Treetop being the stage and just going so deep for that golden fish.
No double jump.
Get that extra. No double jump like you mentioned beforehand. Anti still managing to at least land on the platform and on the level and looking for even more down airs. The CEO just trying to keep on hitting them as much as possible.
Yeah, and we're seeing CEO land so many of these hits, land so much of this damage here. Down air coming in from the SK, not going to be able to do so much just yet, but build up that percent lead. And CEO of RNG just continuing on this onslaught, 112 and counting on the 4s, but essentially no stage control for either of these players.
So we're moving in that time, trying to read in on the recovery. The forward tilts are going to come out too. But now Forsberg trying to maintain that stage control. And they're sending SK to the outside. Now the down air is not quite going to hit that time, or back air either. Down air does hit the mark. Not managing to seal the deal just yet. And now the smoke trying to clear themselves out. Up close and personal, Astra does like it. And it's going to seal it with that down strong.
Yeah, and you can see CEO of RNG still opting to look for more damage, still opting to look for more gold, still opting to look for that ever elusive momentum mail. And there we go. Momentum mail picked up, fishing for that horn now, but not going to be able to get it just yet. Still 100 gold off. Astra right now still looking for an opportunity, though. Still looking to make use of this percent lead as much as possible. But there's the Warhorn. There's the late game Shovel Knight. And here comes the crazy play of CEO of RNG in game number 5.
CEO trying to get some more damage onto the force burn and being very effective. Horn barely missing that time. It's not quite gonna matter yet. Reset neutral and then just goes in. Force burn does with a couple of jabs for 83%. And now the lack of space for the Shovel Knight to move around due to the counterpick of the stage has been paying a lot of dividends for Astra. But CEO just goes ahead and scoops him, and one stock away from going into Grant.
Now one stock away now for the Shovel Knight, who wasn't even seeded to make it to top 8. But right now, Astra in so much control on stage, gonna get completely beat out by the forward airs. But all of a sudden, CEO of RNG with one more back air dropping into the blast zone final stock between these two, the final opportunity for either of them to make it into Grands there. But the forward airs from CEO of RNG are already doing so much work.
Man, the horn coming in that time. Been using it multiple times, just trying to clear the smoke with it too. Anchor coming out to defend themselves and just, again, just using it to clear up everything, just get some more clarity on there. Actually trying to move in. Where is the force burn coming from? Up strong, going to miss on that first hit for the first burn. And the differential is almost 40%. They need to be careful, especially with that up strong forward. Strong, sending him right onto the side and just getting honk onto Grands.
And the sweet spot horn in the end, gonna punch CEO of RNG's ticket directly into Grands. And I mean, we already saw the first set of Grands, so we're seeing not just a ticket into Grands, but a ticket into the Grand Finals reset between Majin Miku and CEO of RNG, two players who neither of which were seeded to make top 8.
Look really well. We did see a victory coming out on the side of Majin. Zetterburn trying to make it count. We're seeing it so far. Third place guaranteed for Astra, KD8 with the 4th, Delta and Inaba for the 5th, and then the 7s will become Nosy and Scrup. Scrup getting DQ'd, well, actually getting a DQ and landing in the top 8 is not that bad. But, you know, but it is what we take those, honestly. So you're good.
Luigi
honestly.
wins by doing absolutely
nothing.
You
Yes,
love to see
correct. Absolutely. But let's see, however, from Zetterburn versus SK in Grand Finals of the Vortex Gallery.
For North America, I do want to clarify. This is for North America because we have South America tomorrow.
Right, so that.
So one more thing, looks like Auntie actually kind of read my mind. Since I've accidentally watched the first set of Grand Finals. That also means we're just gonna go straight into Grand Finals reset. I'm gonna edit this VOD, but don't worry about that. Because for now, this could still go either way. So let me get the replay real quick and we'll get back at you.
Majin Miku getting resetted upon. CEO looking for the victory. Both of them just needing 3 wins to get them a W, the ultimate W for Vortex Gallery North America.
Yeah, I mean, Vortex Gallery Online 2024 for North American Rivals of Aether Basecast is on its way to the Grand Finals reset. As we see, CEO of RNG coming off a huge amount of momentum, just a huge amount of solid play for the Shovel Knight, somewhere that we're not used to seeing the Shovel Knight succeed too much in, as at the very least, with all of those little changes, with the ability to cancel out of that F tilt, out of that forward air, the Shovel Knight starting to come into fruition in these late stages of the game's meta.
Absolutely. A lot of tools that they're going to have in their arsenal, and we did see the Horn doing a lot of the work for CEO, particularly in this matchup versus Zetterburn. The less distance you're going to have to do your thing, the more difficult it is going to be for you. So, what is going to happen? Are we going to get Majin Miku sealing the deal after being in the winner's side, or is CEO crowning themselves the CEO of North America's Vortex Gallery Rivals 1?
Yeah, I mean, as we said, right, it's all about CEO of RNG, and right now, it seems like it's a critical one on that dice roll, as Majin Miku gonna be taking that one straight to the bank.
Doing a tremendous job at the beginning is Majin. Part of the reason why he actually in Winners Finals in the first place, because he was able to execute so greatly. Now Golden Fish coming out for some more cash. Not being able to get even more money now than Majin. Trying to put in the work versus this SK. Forward tilt out to forward strong. Good defense overall. Trying to land on the stage. And now the auto mail, the armor that's going to prevent so much knockback to be done to the SK is coming out, and all of a sudden it feels like it's a boost to their offense as well, Anti, because they are just shredding Zetterburn right now.
Yeah, I mean, Momentum Mail isn't just a boost to the weight, it's a boost to the momentum and the ability to just move around exceedingly quickly on the SK, and we're seeing CEO of RNG take that power straight to the bank, gonna be able to get all the way to full build off of one big opportunity here, able to DI out of the Gatlings as well, but Majin Miku this time around says, all right, well, if you're gonna DI out of my Gatlings, what if I just hit you with the up strong raw? But this looked like it was all Majin Miku's game to win until that one big opportunity from CEO of RNG brought it all the way back. Now the question is, what will Majin Miku do to get rid of all of this momentum?
Very good question. Now the Horn coming in late game situation. Horn one more time, 102%. It just lands right on top of the upstrong and says, hey, could you just hit me with it? And CEO takes the first game.
Yeah, CEO of RNG taking game number 1 in the grand finals reset. And we're moving on. Oh, you still got the replay shown. But as we continue, right, Majin Miku versus CEO of RNG, the question is, who's going to be able to get it all going in the very end? As we've seen, game number 1 doesn't necessarily mean so much.
No, it does not, Anti, and we've seen it time and time again. What's going to happen as they move into the next round in game number 2. And now trying to get some even more momentum than the mail that they get. Now, Spirit Tree being the pick this time. Again, could be very, very dangerous for both of them. Because the stage is so small. And any type of momentum from either side can make the difference of life or death.
I mean, we saw this happen in the first set of Grands where these two are just so powerful, just going at it again and again and again. Every single time that Majin Miku lands a hit when there's no momentum mail active, CEO of RNG struggles to keep up.
One stock taking away. Now the parry coming in that time, and that's just going onto neutral special after the up tilt. Parries that one more time, continues to move in. Oh, just hits him right in the face with the shovel just to continue that same pressure. But again,
yeah. Oh, wow. It was just all about that parry bait between the two of them. As we mentioned, right, Majin Miku loves to hold forward, loves to just play as aggressively as possible. So the moment that you see him start to mix in the timing mix-ups, the parry baits, the slight weight, it gets so much more terrifying when you realize, oh, this setter has been holding forward not because that's all they know, but as a choice. And here we go, Majin Miku holding forward into game number 3, firing right back.
That is indeed the secret, Anti. They are always pressing forward. And it has been working out for them. Actually getting on the board here. The CEO trying to maybe mitigate the offense that this force burn, or rather the setter burn. I got confused for a second because I'm watching also. As MK Leo actually using force burn to great effect and loses finals, and Luminosity makes moves by, oh, never mind. They just got spiked by Loxodon. Nevertheless. Actually moving in a CEO of RNG and Majin Miku going into game 3. Gonna be super important for the momentum of the entire series, Antek.
Yeah, right now this is a super important game here, right? The grand finals reset, both of these players just going out it toe to toe. CEO of RNG's momentum has finally been halted just a little bit here, but right now Majin Miku in a little bit of trouble.
Man, Jules Bale coming in. Stage control dominated now by the Zetterburn. Continuing a couple of fairs. Fair. That's a combo, by the way. This fair into fair works. And we see it just right now, taking that first stock.
Yeah, but I mean, that was one of those moments where you think to yourself, all right, well, I have to DI out on the fair, because if I DI in, it's just going to turn into so much more hurt if it turns into a sweet spot fair or a double jump dare. But in the end, Majin Miku able to take the entire stock with just the weak fairs off the side.
He's pushing him slowly but surely. It's like slow and steady wins the race. Gatling actually going at just 2 stocks the quickest we've seen between these two in a long time, but now responding back quickly as well is going to be CEO. Going to absorb a little bit of more money. Try to get maybe the horn on deck, but Momentum Nail is in play.
I mean, right now you can see that Momentum Mail is something that's so important for CEO of RNG, so unbelievably powerful for this player. And Majin Miku once again struggling to deal a little bit with the changes of the items.
Moving in so far, we are rated by Crow Space Boy with a party of 3. And what a way to actually get some more raids in with grand finals on the reset. And now Upstrong coming in that time. Horn not quite going to be able to do enough. Wow, just shovel right onto the face. And Horn one more time. Just like that, tied stocks.
Yeah, Majin Miku right now just needs one good hit, but CEO of RNG not gonna give it to him. The horns just do so much damage here. One forward strong not going to do it just yet, but there it is. No purple needed when you're on fire.
So far, one win away for Miku to crown themselves the victor of Vortex Gallery's North America Rivals 1 tournament. What is going to happen now remains to be seen, but it's going to be super interesting either way.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's going to be a very big question as to who comes out on top in the very end. It is still going to be that Jules Veil pick for CEO of RNG here. You know, a relatively neutral stage. 500 gold to start things off, though. And this is a much better econ start for CEO of RNG in comparison to how we saw game number 3 work out.
And that's why it's so important for them to actually get those monies in as fast as possible. And that's a problem, especially when you have Majin Miku just smothering you in offense, left and right, front and center, up and down. There's no really a way to actually you recover safely that time. Both of them trying to get a parry in, but it's not really going to matter, as we see now that Miku has a firm stock lead.
Yeah, right now, CEO of RNG just needs to find some way how to get this. The edge cancel on that down B leaves Majin Miku in advantage, and so does the Gatling. Majin Miku 1 stock away from taking Vortex Gallery 2024 for North America.
Miku one more time, just moving in, setting up SK on fire. Up tilt not quite going to hit the mark that time. Momentum Nail has not been purchased yet, and they are going to do so just as Zetterman was actually getting elevated, so a lot more survivability that time. And now hitting them in the face one more time is going to give them enough time and enough cash to get the horn as well. Just like that, this is a different game, Anti. They need to be careful, especially when it comes to approaching.
Yeah, has to be super careful here. CEO of RNG now on the back foot for a little bit. One up strong could absolutely do it, but here comes the horn. Here comes the momentum mail. The shine up strong to take it. And Majin Miku with a 3-1 in the grand finals reset is your Vortex Gallery 2024 North American Basecast Rivals champion.
Tremendous jobs by Majin Miku and a great effort by CEO, who managed to reset the bracket just in time, but eventually, Majin Miku made the adaptations and continued to put on the pressure and made sure that Shovel Knight was always bankrupt when it came actually to get those items. The last opportunities that they had, they tried to take advantage of them, but not quite going to end up in the end, and it's a Gatling that seals the victory at the end for Miku.
Congratulations.
In the end, Majin Miku gonna be able to take it all in the end. I mean, shoutouts to Fracture Transients. Shoutouts once again to our Matcherino. So make sure to contribute to that as much as possible. It costs $0, super free, very easy. And shoutouts to Vortex Gallery for having us on cast on stream and having everything come into fruition.
Yep, 5 doll hairs were done by Matcherino with the codifications. And yeah, that's going to be it for us tonight after just crowning our victor for North America's Vortex Gallery. Alex, you wanted some promotions to be done, so just go ahead and do them.
Go ahead. Thank you guys so much for all your hard work despite the replay shenanigans. My soul just left, but I'm glad we managed to go through to the end, so it was still a fun bracket to watch. Alright, now, for my shilling, just to let you guys know that, of course, this is all part of Vortex Gallery Online 2024. One of the biggest multi-game online events of the year, hosted by our good friends over at 956 Productions. Don't forget, this is going to go on, as we saw, from October 11th all the way through November 10th. So, let's see what's gonna be next in store for my involvement. You guys like Rivals, right? So that was fun, but it actually doesn't stop there because today, or rather tomorrow, we're actually gonna be continuing on with both the Rivals of Aether Workshop, which will be global, and the Basecast South America bracket. That's actually going to be, the South America bracket is going to be hosted by me, while the Workshop bracket is going to be hosted by our lovely friends over at Extended Workshop. But as for South America, it's going to be tomorrow, again, same hour at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the bracket going on, with the stream starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess at the point, that'll be 9:30 AST because of Daylight Savings Time. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be the same old bad time. And I hope to see you guys there. After that, though, on the second to last day, I'm going to be hosting everyone's favorite fighting game of the year, as you guys know, Dino Rex. As you guys know, the last Super Major was a massive success, so might as well just do the biggest Dino Rex bracket in all of Pangea of the year with this awesome Super Major, thanks to our friends with Vortex Gallery. It's going to be taking place at November 10th. For that one, actually... Boo, Dino... Okay, I'm gonna just ban your ass. I'm joking. This game is actually peak. You're gonna have expert commentary. Not really. But you can see like a lot of awesome fighters all across the supercontinent. So, for this one, this was actually... Registrations are still live. Oops, I didn't have to put that in. But if you guys are interested in registering for that, I believe I have a VGON. Okay, it's just 24. There we go. Registrations are still live for the Dino Rex bracket, so if you want to participate in that and various other brackets for the last weekend of Vortex Gallery, then please be sure to register. And of course, don't forget to get yourself some dope-ass merch, especially thanks to all these awesome designs that you can buy for yourself at 956pro.com/shop. We're gonna get all things Vortex Gallery and 956 Productions related stuff, featuring tons of very talented artists, especially more so for the bottom right. That I actually have that, but I like another color. I think it's pretty sick with the made with the fight stick. Please be sure to get one for some dope ass memories of this event. And speaking of which, that's actually not where the Vortex Gallery action will end, because next year they're proud to announce that they're going to be hosting the community tournaments at Frosty Faustings 17. That's going to be taking place on January 23rd to the 26th at the Westin in Lombard, Illinois. All you need to do to participate is just to get a spectator pass from the main bracket. But yeah, community brackets-wise, we have all sorts of awesome games, including Blaze Blue Cross Sack Battle, CVS 2, Nick All-Star Brawl 2, Fighters History Dynamite, also known as Karnoff's Revenge, both Sam Show 5 Special and Sam Show 2019, Sailor Moon S-Cuffs, of course, Ultra Fight Dakianta, and many more. And plus, that is actually just the initial lineup. There's like going to be more games coming in on your way, so stay tuned to the Vortex Gallery official Twitter account and on Blue Sky for more game announcements, because I feel like this lineup is actually pretty sick, honestly. So I can't go to Frosty Faustings. I'm planning more so to go to Combo Breaker, but I really hope people have a fun time. So please give all these brackets your support, and yeah, hope to see you guys there. And last but not least, something that's more important in my dear heart is actually Alex Alchemy's charity thing number 7, the 7th edition of my charity series. As you guys know, for this edition, due to the ongoing genocide in Gaza, it's more important more now than ever to actually help out the children there who are currently suffering this horrific tragedy. So, as always, me and a bunch of other people from not just the Poverty FGC, Puzzle, Platform Fighter, but many other awesome peeps are going to be coming together for an entire week of over 60 events for an awesome cause, taking place from November 11th through the 17th, which is actually directly after Vortex Gallery Online. As for the Rivals stuff, I'm proud to announce I will be hosting Rivals Workshop on that Thursday, Rivals 1 Basecast on that Friday, and finally the act premiere, or debut rather, of Rivals of Aether 2. That's going to be on Saturday. So, if you guys want to participate in all of those brackets and many, many more, again, featuring tons of awesome people from the community, I have the link right here. Please be sure to register, and let's see if we get some donations in, shall we? Because I currently donated $14 of my own prize money just to donate to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, so I think that will be a good time to actually start up the donation train going. But yeah, Act 7, all benefit of the PCRF, November 11th to the 17th. Over 60 events for a good cause. Hope to see you guys there. And that's pretty much it. Sorry for the long rant, but yeah.
All for us today. Y'all take care. That'll be it for us today. Make sure to tune back in tomorrow. But either way, thank you all for taking care. Thank you, Chopper, for being a wonderful co-host with me. And thank you, Alex Alchemy, for having us on. Anyway, y'all take care. Have a nice night.
Take care, y'all. Bye-bye. Alright, now for anyone who's still watching here, we're actually gonna figure out who we're gonna rate next. Alright, so looks like Sam Show 2019 has just ended. So, what's currently going on right now? Alright, so right now we're actually gonna raid over towards the Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising bracket for South America. So, I'm not sure if Sam Show, they're actually gonna raid towards us, but we're actually gonna raid towards Zate FGC, who's hosting the South American bracket for it. So, let me rate you guys there too as that. Again, sorry for the, I do apologize for the replay stuff. Hopefully for the YouTube upload, I'm actually gonna go into DaVinci Prime so I can edit out the actual winners finals for them. I'm guessing I'm gonna do some splicing and editing and other sorts of shenanigans. But regardless though, if you're watching this on Twitch, coming up next, it's gonna be the Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising bracket for South America. But if you're watching from YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Hopefully after Act 7 I could do more casual streams and all that stuff. But that being said, I've been Alex Alchemy. Again, don't forget tomorrow we have Rivals of Aether South America. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, y'all. Stay safe. And free Lebanon and free Palestine. Goodbye.